Hello and welcome to RPG Research. I'm your host, Hawk Robinson, and RPG Research is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable research and human services organization studying the effects of all role-playing game formats and their potential to help improve lives. Today is a little bit of a special today where we don't normally do unboxings and things like that, but we're doing a slew of them today, just kind of piled up. We alternate on Mondays and Thursdays between RPG theory and lectures and applied gaming. And today is an applied gaming day. And we had already queued up Talisman, Legendary Tales, and Dungeon. But then yesterday, what happened to come in, if somebody wants to grab that. In fact, let me see if we can turn on the overhead camera here. Yeah, there you go. You want to make it go vertical instead of horizontal.
Wow.
There you go.
Oh, I get a look at it too.
Yeah. So the Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons starter kit. And you'll notice it's still in the plastic. People were questioning how I was able to resist tearing the plastic off and opening it right up. And I don't know, I guess it's just one of my special skills. To resist that kind of temptation. There are others that I struggle with, but so we held off. We did a little preview teaser yesterday, but tonight we're actually going to unbox it. Now, some people commented, "Oh, unboxing's boring. I want to get a review and stuff." Well, we're going to do more than just an unboxing. We're gonna read through a little bit of it. We're going to check it out, look at the quality, what's there, and then we're going to start to play a little bit of it. Now, we're not going to go very far into the playthrough, but we'll do the very beginning playthrough, so there will be spoilers with that. So we're going to be doing that shortly. But what we're also going to be doing today, Danielle, if you want to grab the others and maybe tilt the camera a little more level. There we go. Is, now it's all crooked. Make the camera straight too, please. So twist. No, other way. There you go. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it can go that way.
All right. Talisman Legendary Journeys, which is interesting in that it is for 1 to 6 players. And 1 means you can play by yourself. You can play this game solo. So that's an interesting twist, that it works from 1 to 6 players, and it's a cooperative game. And we really like cooperative games. There's too few of those. And I think it was Shane who was saying we really need to check this one out. So I got it ordered a little while ago. And then, probably last but not least, the reissue of Dungeon, the fantasy board game. And it's basically a board game version of a dungeon crawl, is basically what it is. It reminds me of Gauntlet, the old video game Gauntlet. Don't shoot the food. Warrior needs food badly. For those of you who remember the 80s and 90s Gauntlet video game. So that will do last because that one doesn't have a clear play time and it looks like it could take a while. Talisman says it's only 20 to 40 minutes for a complete playthrough. So what I'm thinking is I will go ahead and have us go through the Dungeons & Dragons unboxing and playthrough with the special Stranger Things version here. Careful to make sure. That is lead, which is easily ruined by falling.
Sorry.
And that is lead, so don't lick your fingers.
I like the piece itself.
I would recommend against that.
Okay.
I didn't have it. So this is also, if you want to hold it up to there, up close. Yeah, that is the 1984 Grenadier Demogorgon miniature. So there's a little bit of a hashtag going around saying "Not my Demogorgon" when they see on here the Demogorgon that's... Oh, is this reversed? Is that what's confusing things? The Demogorgon... No? Never mind. But the Demogorgon that's on here is very different. And so there's a hashtag going around saying "Not my Demogorgon." This is much closer to what's in the... I forget, it was Monster Manual, Fiend Folio, whatever it was in. Much closer to it. Although it's still not quite identical. The ones in there look more like monkey heads, and these have a little spikes and stuff. But much, much closer. So I still have it, fortunately, from 1984. I bought it when it was brand new, and it's still hanging in there. So we're kind of waiting for people to kind of queue in here. But I guess we'll go ahead and get going on this.
You want to introduce our...
Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and introduce everybody,
Yeah,
actually. So again, I'm Hawk Robinson, founder of RPG Research.
I'm Danielle Whitworth, and you can't see me.
Oh, hang on. Let me hide the overhead. Let's try that again. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm Danielle Whitworth, and I am the treasurer, as well as a GM level 1 and an advocate level 1 trainee.
I'm John Wilker, RPG Research Vice President, GM 1, Advocate 1, Annoyance 2.
What?
We're all starting
Only
at Annoyance
two?
level 1. I'm Riley, I'm a therapeutic specialist.
And I'm David, a future research assistant at RPG on my
Yeah.
first day.
Well, you're now a research assistant trainee.
Sweet.
So that's your level 1 research assistant trainee. That's your title. And you are volunteer number 57?
Correct.
57. Yep. You'll meet number... Are you going to be down at Drop-In an RPG tomorrow?
What day is tomorrow?
Friday. From
What time is it?
4 to 7. Be
I think
downtown.
I'm free.
Okay, so we're going to be at this corner of Ruby and Jackson with the bus and trailer
Yep.
doing our community outreach programs.
Is that
With-
Spark Central?
No, that's 2 Fridays a month.
Yep.
But the first Friday of the month, so that's the second and fourth Friday.
Yep.
First Friday of the month, we go to different locations around the whole eastern Washington, northern Idaho area. And we take the bus and trailer and we literally set up at a park or street corner and invite people to come in and learn role-playing gaming, do drum music stuff, cooperative music, etc. And just a chance for people to get brochures and cards and things like that. So it's an outreach and awareness thing. With the artwork there, people are like, what is that? With the RPG bus and the RPG trailer. So it's pretty effective. So it's advertising, but the main purpose is outreach to raise awareness about what role-playing games are.
Yep.
Accessibility considerations, because they're both wheelchair accessible vehicles. And we also have Braille dice, and if we have to do sign language, we'll help people.
To the best
with
of our
that.
abilities.
We're not interperners, but we try to help as best we can. So, anyway, did we get
We got all the way around.
Yeah, well, and tell everybody where you're from.
So I just moved here 18 days ago from Brisbane in Australia.
Okay. Welcome. And if you want to move that mic a little closer, you're welcome to lean back, but move the mic closer so that it picks you up better. It's okay.
Moving forward, then moving back. And...
That's okay, but yeah, keep the mic closer to you, and if you lean into it, it won't hurt. It's not turned up too high. But if you lean back and it's away from you, then it's going to be fairly quiet.
On the arm.
All right. And we don't have anybody behind the scenes. We don't have anybody joining remotely today. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to double check that. Let me refresh, because sometimes Jitsi can lie to us.
Maybe on the wrong Jitsi.
No, we're on the right Jitsi. That's the right Jitsi. Yeah, nobody's joining remotely.
Dan is going to be late.
Oh, Dan is coming, though?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And
we have Dan.
Because there's 5 character sheets.
Anne is not going to be here.
Anne is not, okay, because she's got the robot competition thing, which is cool. That is awesome. All right. Cool in the geeky, nerdy way of
and
cool,
Shane
but it's
is
becoming
busy
more
with
mainstream.
something this week.
Yeah, he had stuff all week, but he said he's probably going to be at Drop-In tomorrow.
That'd be nice.
Okay.
That would be very nice. All right. I'm going to read from this, and then I'm going to tear the plastic off and finally open this. Stop teasing everybody, right? Antissa.
Patient.
Yes. See who gets in first. Who couldn't take it any longer? It's from
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes.
It's, yeah.
Antissa.
Something's happening.
I don't need that. This is thick enough.
Okay.
I think. We'll see. All right. So,
Yep.
everything you need to embark on a Stranger Things adventure, ages 14 plus, 3 plus players, includes 2 exclusive Demogorgon figures, one painted, one not painted that's supposed to be paintable. Question is it metal or not? People want to know. Inquiring minds want to know because it doesn't say. It just says paintable Demogorgon figure. It doesn't say it's plastic or metal or pewter or what.
Right.
It's not going to be lead. We know that.
What?
Embark.
Not many non-plastic minis being made nowadays.
Yeah. Embark on a Dungeons and Dragons adventure created by Mike. Mike Wheeler from Hawkins, Indiana, has created an awesome Dungeons and Dragons adventure, and now you get to play it. Pick your character. Will you be Will the Wise or Dustin the Dwarf? And get your fireballs ready as you investigate the mysterious castle and battle the ferocious Demogorgon. Will you make it out alive? Will you encounter a beast with 7 heads? Did you pack your wrist rocket? Prepare yourself for anything, because the game just got stranger.
No, I predict I'm going to do a lot of this again.
And David?
Yes.
Great for the new Dungeons and Dragons player.
There we
So if
go.
you've never played before, this is perfect time.
I might have a chance. No.
It includes Stranger Things Adventure Book, a rule book, and it's a miniature version of the rule book. It's not the full-blown version. 5 Stranger Things character sheets, 6 dice, a painted Demogorgon figure, and a paintable Demogorgon figure. And this is a combination of Hasbro Gaming, Wizards of the Coast, and Netflix. All 3 of them had to come together with their intellectual property rights to be able to allow this to even happen. And that is not easy to do.
That sounds like a
Property
lot
stuff.
of money.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here.
Before I even
By the way,
make money.
this is not supposed to ship from Amazon until May 5th.
Oh.
And
Yeah,
a bunch of pre-order people got it a month early.
there has already been an unboxing last week.
Yeah, I saw he got that early. I understand that. But all he did was the unboxing and didn't do the playthrough.
Yeah, no.
So we're going to do a little play. All right, I'm cutting the plastic and opening it up.
We may have to do a full playthrough on another day.
Yeah, we will. Another time we'll do a full playthrough and make sure people have the opportunity to avoid the spoilers.
I probably should watch the show before that.
What's that?
I should probably watch the show before that.
What?
Yeah. If you want to under there, let me bring the overhead
Yeah.
camera back up. Hang on.
I've been meaning to watch it for the past 3 years. So.
Go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead and there you go. You got it.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's empty.
And
It looks empty.
They're the same Demogorgon.
One's painted, one's not painted. That's the key thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's the key thing. You can get to paint one if you want.
And there's dice.
Yeah, and 1 set of dice. It's not as though we have a shortage of dice here.
This does not.
It's all taped together. Can you do that under the camera, please?
Yeah. If I can get the control of my
Or
fingers.
else I'll just
I
go here.
Well, it's plastic, but it feels. It's
It's
kind
a
of.
plastic mini. Let's see.
It's really bendable.
Oh, wow. It's very rubbery plastic, which the good thing is, so it's not brittle.
Yeah.
So it has a higher, I don't want to say rubber, maybe petroleum, I don't know. But it's, this is not going to break as easily. It's not brittle, but it's really squishable. It's squishy. It's a squishy Demogorgon.
The colors are only really in the mouth and very lightly on the arms.
Yeah, this was made in China.
It is.
So it's not going to be high craftsmanship. I wouldn't get too hung up about the miniatures. I don't think that many people actually care about the miniatures. But it's worth pointing out.
These are the same ones that came in the starter set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Demogorgons. Okay.
You want to hand it over here?
Oh yeah.
How much is this box?
$25 retail on Amazon. It's just $25.
So
That's a pretty good deal for all that built into there. All right, you want to hand the box over to me?
Or do you want me to pull out the first one?
Well, go and hand them over to me.
Okay, so we have first just the starter set.
Yeah, this is the starter set rulebook. Okay, and the next item.
That one's upside down.
Okay. This is the adventure, right?
The hunt for the...
Yeah, adventure book. Hunt for the Thessal Hydra.
And then the first character, which is a bard.
Okay. Go ahead and take the character sheets out, and I'd like you to hand them all to me first.
Okay.
Game Master should screen these things.
You should know what
A
it's for.
third level bard,
Yeah.
Hill Dwarf, entertainer background, neutral good, with 900 experience points. A third level cleric, acolyte, wood elf, lawful good, and 900 experience. They all have 900 experience points in all third level. Paladin, human, lawful good, soldier background. Ranger, half-orc, neutral good, outlander background. Wizard, half-elf, acolyte background, neutral good. And there's a lot more details that you'll be able to as you pick your characters. So of those, Danielle, what sounded appealing to you?
Probably the bard.
Okay, going with the bard.
I'm going to hide behind the...
You're a hill dwarf. Oh, but you have a very low strength.
I'm going to hide behind a pile of
But you
meat.
get great dex, con, intelligence, and charisma. So we'll go over each of your characters in a little bit. All right. So we have remaining the Ranger Half-Orc, the Human Paladin.
Switch off the main camera since it covers all of us.
Okay. Yep. Good point. Thank you. So Ranger Half-Orc, Human Paladin, Wood Elf Cleric, or Half-Elf Wizard. John.
Half-elf wizard.
All right.
I think the most complicated one.
Okay. Now, no writing on these character sheets. Please use some Post-its to write things on it and such. Of course, we've got pencils. If you don't have a pencil, please ask for one. Danielle can pass them around. Okay, Riley.
I'll take the half-orc.
The Half-Orc Ranger. Can you pass that down, please, Danielle? Thank you.
And I'll go for the human paladin.
Human Paladin. All right. We got the policeman.
This is a really short go.
Was that?
Because I know, like, when I used to play Warcraft 3. There's like a really short hero in there called a paladin.
No,
No.
yeah, Warcraft is not going to be quite the same. They have their own weird isms.
They're only
Human's going to be, he's probably going to be about 6 feet tall and, you know, burly and all of that. So we'll be going through these to describe them to people. So that will leave for Dan when he gets here. He will be the Cleric Wood Elf. Now, did you notice what class was left last?
Cleric?
The Healer.
I don't need one of
Cleric.
those.
I have done so unless I'm there or people like we intentionally were training people, if you generally put a bunch of characters out on the table, most of the time the healers get left. Unless, you know, every now and then you get somebody who either likes to play the healer, is resigned to playing the healer, or they're us who were like, we always wait till the last one, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what's left.
I like to play healers.
Yeah,
But
I don't mind. I like the support role and stuff, but the majority of the time, if you put these out here, the cleric gets left off. Very
the cleric
often.
has more
I'd
weapons
love to do
than
more
I
research
do.
and stuff to see if that's really a thing. But I mean, it seems to be a thing. It's got enough that it's got, you know, it's a trope and it's got memes and stuff about it. All right, so let's talk about our characters here. I'll wait for Dan. Hopefully, he shows up for too long. If anybody wants to nudge him a reminder. So let John, if you want to start, because it looks like Danielle's going to remind Dan.
Okay.
And I
So
like to read
let's
more.
start hearing a little bit about your character, and then we'll start reading into the story.
I'm a wizard, 3rd level. Means I'm a spellcaster, with intelligence being my prime requisite. And I have an acolyte background, which means I have a little bit of religious training. I am half elf, which means my parents came from different cultures. Neutral good. And
Yeah, they came from different species.
yeah, different species. Wizards are supreme magic users, drawing on the subtle weave of magic that permeates the cosmos. Background: I've spent my life in the service of a temple to a specific god or pantheon of gods, and I act as an intermediary between the realm of the holy and the mortal world, but I am not a cleric.
Which is funny because this one has the same background, and it says, "But you are not a cleric. But this is the cleric."
So
This is
obviously
definitely
a
where they
cut
were
and paste
paying
error.
attention to the template.
Yeah.
Oops.
And you're supposed to work with my DM to detail the nature of my religious
Are you
services.
texting Dan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have shelter the faithful as an acolyte. I command the respect of those who share my faith. There's no, unlike the original box set, there's no actual background of I grew up in Delderwood and I seek fame.
Okay, and I wonder if that'll be in the adventure book or something.
Yeah, there's also none of the.
Yeah, these are generic background information straight from basically the starter kit of D&D anyway. Although the normal starter kit, like with Lost Mine of Pandelver, is first level instead of third level.
They don't have the. What are those things called? Grab a regular character sheet.
They don't have binds and flaws and
Personality traits, ideals, bonds, or flaws.
they left all those out. Oh,
No,
I think
it's
that
down
I
in the
think
bottom right. They just don't have anything in it.
yeah,
Oh,
they didn't
they're
fill them
empty.
in. Yeah, I
Okay.
think in the basic one they kind of. No, I thought no.
No, the basic
they
one. I'm
did.
looking at the
They
basic one
introduced
right
that.
now,
That's
and it
right.
has
Yeah,
It has those
that's
filled out.
interesting. They left it out.
And they actually have backgrounds that tell things like, my family's no stranger to wealth, power, and
Yeah.
privilege.
Interesting.
Um,
I wonder why they did that.
saves
I wonder if it's because this is supposed to be quasi emulating the first edition D&D, and that didn't have that. Maybe
possibly.
since they're trying to emulate the show. I wonder. I wonder.
Wonder.
So
Alright.
is this the same layouts as other versions of Dungeons and Dragons?
Basically, I mean, this is 5th edition, so this is basically what you'd be familiar with from 5th edition.
Yep.
Which came out in 2012 or something like that. I forget the
So
exact
for a
date.
regular player, when they read this, they would understand. Like,
Yeah, if you
Oh,
go
yes.
play regular D&D, it would be about the same.
This is the character sheet from the original box set for 5th edition.
So it's not. It's
slightly different.
yeah. There's always slight, and people pick different character sheets that are available.
Yeah.
Some of them are 4 or 5 pages, so they have whole portfolios.
Yeah.
Because they want to play them
Yeah.
for a long time. Because you can play. One of the neat things about role playing games is you can play for years the same character and have a continuing
Really?
connected story that you all work cooperatively together. This is a cooperative, non-competitive game. So for everybody's benefit, David has not role played before, so this is a great introduction.
It's a high learning curve.
Yeah, well, and the good thing is, as a researcher, it's going to be great because you're going to be asking these questions of a new player, right? He and I have been gaming since the 70s, so we make too many assumptions sometimes. So it's really great to have somebody come in fresh with your researcher background who may ask some great fresh questions. And we can help guide you through that. Yeah. No, I think I saw the research you're doing. That looks I'm very excited to have you join our team.
This is my character binder for the game I do on Sundays. Heroes of the
Which we
Mist.
broadcast, yeah.
Is that quite a long game you're playing there?
We're about to do episode 40.
Yeah,
So we play once a week. And sometimes we've missed a few because of the holidays and such. So this Sunday we'll be doing episode 40 of Heroes of the Mist, and it's audience interactive. The audience can help cause things happen to the players.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little twist that we added for fun, and we
I
have
got
a
like
real.
8 pages in here.
Yeah, he has 8 pages defining his character. So in a book, a writer will often have notes of their the main character and the supporting characters, and the conflicting issues and people and all of that. They'll usually have like a 3x5 index card, or somewhere they write down notes about the personality traits, the history, the background of the characters they're going to write a book about, right?
That makes sense.
You are,
Yes.
that is a short list of that character, except you're going to be playing it. So we have role-playing games that are based on, like this is, intellectual property. So this is a TV show on Netflix. They finished their 2nd season, 3rd season's coming out this year. And these are not playing the characters from the game, but the kids in the game played some characters, and these are meant to reflect those. But we have others like Middle Earth, right? The One Ring role-playing game.
Yep.
So you can play characters like Frodo and Bilbo and Gandalf and things like that, some of them. Although usually it's better to play somebody original and then meet those characters without actually playing them. It's more, you get more flexibility that way.
Can you customize the characters that you've been given here, or is that something which would happen?
So when normally what happens when you play is you make your own custom character.
Mhm.
These are called pre-generated characters that you're just going to jump in and start playing, because the character creation process for D&D for 5th edition is a little lengthy.
Mhm.
typically for one group to make everybody to make characters from scratch would take a minimum of what's called a session zero, one or two session zeros. So that's a 3 to 4 hours just for everybody to make their characters together as a group, each working on it. And some games like Rollmaster can take 4 hours a person. It can be quite an investment. So people really don't want their character to die after it takes a while. Earlier versions of D&D, like BECME, only take 15 minutes to make a character. And they die easily, and so it's less of an investment.
Paranoia.
You get extra lives, so that's a whole other story. All right. Riley, you want to go through your specs on your character?
Australia Consumer Services. New Zealand Consumer Services.
And Danielle, you want to put that box up where the camera... I'm going to put the overhead camera.
I
No,
will
put
when
it
we're
on
done.
top of the talisman.
If they're looking at it.
The top box?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's from Australia or New Zealand, that one.
What is?
That box, that
It's
game.
box. So it was made in China.
Uh-huh.
Australia Consumer Services at Hasbro, and then New Zealand Consumer Services at Hasbro.
Interesting. Well, what do you know?
I don't know. It's there.
It's there on the box.
I suppose printed on all like the games that are available in Australia, so we have information for Australia and New Zealand. So the standards maybe they're shared across the two countries because New Zealand is basically a state of Australia.
Okay, interesting. Nice catch there. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Definitely reading the fine print. All right, Riley, go ahead and describe your character.
I'm a half-orc ranger. I focus. My main weapon is a longbow, and I also use a short bow in close range.
The minis.
I know deep speech and elvish for some reason. I don't know where I learned that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I know 3 different spells because I'm a 3rd level ranger.
Okay.
I was a wanderer, so I grew up in the wilds. I'm an outlander. I grew up in the wilds, far from civilization, and I've witnessed migrations of herds larger than forests, and just seen nature.
Okay. Cool. All right, David.
And I'm not exactly sure how
So,
to
Riley, why don't you give him a hand?
summarize-
So, upper right-hand area, start with your class and level first.
So I'm a paladin level 3.
Correct.
Soldier.
Yeah, that's your background.
The human race.
Yep.
I'm lawful good alignments, and I have 900 experience
Correct.
points.
And then on the left, what are your stats? The smaller number is what you want to read rather than the modifier.
Okay, so I have strength as the highest one at 16.
Okay.
And then the constitution, wisdom, and charisma are all at 14.
Okay, what about your dex?
And then... Sorry?
Dexterity was under strength. You skipped over dexterity.
Oh, so you go through one by one. Okay.
Yeah, just
Sorry.
go. Yeah.
And dexterity is 10, which is
Okay.
the lowest out of all.
Yeah,
of them.
and that's average for a human character.
Oh, so they...
It's on a scale of
Well,
3
like
to 18.
Yep.
3 is the lowest you can normally have, and 18 is the highest you can normally have.
So I'm not doing too bad in
Right.
any
Like,
of them.
yeah, like a 10 is what an average townsfolk would be at.
Yeah, 10 is exactly average. So think of it this way. 100 IQ is based on, if everybody's IQ is at this, that's the exact median, right?
Yep.
50th percentile, 100 IQ. So a 10 is 100 IQ for intelligence. An 18 would be like 180 IQ.
It's pretty much the same scale.
So it's not identical, but it's roughly the same scale. So that gives you an idea of percentile, right? Which percentile of population you would be when you get all the way up to like a 16 strength. If you think of an IQ being 160, you're the equivalent in strength. That's pretty high up there. That's very high percentile. Yeah, there's not a lot. Now, D&D, the way 5th edition is done, there's a lot of what we call point inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Older versions of D&D, the way you rolled the dice and everything,
Yep.
had lower numbers. The stats were typically lower. So 16 was more significant. The newer way they tend to roll, they use points and allocate them, or they roll 4 six-sided and take away the lowest one, which skews the curve up higher.
Yep.
So so the numbers tend to be higher and more inflated in newer editions than in older editions. So that's called point inflation.
My character does have an 8 in strength.
Yes. So that is below. So he has penalties when he tries to do stuff. You're going to learn how this works. But these have modifiers when you try to attempt actions. We don't want to bog you down in rules up front. We wanted to get you into the action, but I want everybody to just get a little bit of introduction. So each of you...
I haven't introduced mine.
What's that?
I haven't introduced mine.
Oh, because you were... Okay, go ahead, please.
I am a 3rd level bard, entertainer, hill dwarf, and I'm neutral good. And I have something called Backed by Popular Demand, which means that places I go that I usually play in the taverns or circus or something of that nature, people will recognize me on the street.
Cool. That could be good or bad.
Yeah. And it's usually favorable, is what it says.
Yes, yes. And we are waiting for a 5th player. Dan is on the way. Because this is meant for 5 players and a game master, so up to 6 people can play in this game. Generally, we don't recommend more than that because the game tends to slow down, but you can do more. I've had as many as 20 people at a table, but you have to really be disciplined about going around very quickly. Okay, so I would like each of you with your Post-its. You're going to put a Post-it in your upper left-hand corner because I want you to write on the actual character sheets. But the upper left-hand corner of your front page of your character sheet, on the front page, go ahead and enter your character name. So make a name up. And put HP, and then how many hit points you currently have from your character sheet, because that's going to be a number that will vary a lot throughout the game.
Unless you're really good.
Yeah, well, we're lucky. There's lucky in that as well. And then anytime you need to write something down about this character, write it on a Post-it or add more Post-its. Don't write them on the character sheet. We will make copies of these that we can write on later, but we wanted to get going once we opened it. So this does include the starter set rulebook. We already showed that when we were pulling out of the box. But of course it has the special artwork for Stranger Things. So let's take a look and see, some of the things that are immediately different. In fact, John, do you want to grab the starter set rulebook from Lost Mine of Phandelver, just kind of compare and contrast to the regular starter set? So first of all,
thicker.
The paper feels a little different. It's 43 pages. So, of course, it's different artwork. It's the Stranger Things artwork rather than.
Yes, it's actually.
And the back is very different because it's got Hasbro Gaming, Wizards, and Netflix all combined.
All right, I have to run out and get the kit.
Are you sure it's not in the bottom of that?
Why is it not in my?
Oh yeah, no.
Because that's my kit that should have my rule book in it. It got taken out.
Must have been. That's just theory.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and grab it.
Oh, I know where it is.
Where?
It's in the blue binder that we brought back out here. No, it's not that one. It's a thicker one.
What are you talking about? Up there?
Yes, that one.
With
that
AIM?
one's your. I think it's in there.
Why is it in the AIM
I
one?
don't know. I just saw it. I saw it in there with the
Eves and Mirkwood would be in there, but
no,
Yeah, this is Eves and Mirkwood.
nope, it's not in there. Never mind.
So these are all different games in the bookshelf.
yeah, these are all different role-playing games. Yes, some of them
Yeah.
going back to the 1970s. So the first role-playing game was in 1974, and it was Dungeons and Dragons. You're going to learn all this through your training and stuff. In fact, there'll be quizzes and tests and everything. We have an online learning platform at rpg.education. It's required. You can't move to the next chapter until you get 100% on the quiz. It's automated that way. So the earliest version is the box, which is I've got a bunch of them in my office right now. Yeah, it's it. Anyway, we're not going to get into that today. Today's not a history lesson. We're going to be focusing on Stranger Things. We do that plenty of other times on plenty of other shows. So, Chapter 1, How to Play. The Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game is about storytelling in worlds of swords and sorcery, like games of make-believe. D&D is driven by imagination. It's about picturing a crumbling castle in a darkening forest and imagining how a fantasy adventurer might react to the challenges that scene presents. In this fantasy world, the possibilities are limitless. So, here's a little example from this adventure. Mike, the Dungeon Master. The castle stands among the trees. Actually, should I be doing it like a young 12-year-old boy or whatever? The castle stands among the trees. The crumbling ruins of 7 rounds. Try to do the crackling adolescent changing voice thing. Okay, I won't do that. I'll make everybody leave in terror. The castle stands among the trees. The crumbling ruins of 7 round towers jutting up from it like broken teeth. An archway littered with twisted shards of rusted metal gapes open at the top of a short flight of steps. 2 of the towers, speckled with dark arrow slits, loom beside the entryway, and a dark hall yawns beyond. So then at that point, one of the players will declare what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So Will the cleric says, "Let's send the ranger up ahead to look and make sure it's safe." So then Lucas the ranger says, "Okay, I'll move to the side and sneak along the wall of the tower until I can peer in through the entrance."
Is that written down there?
I'm literally reading right from this introductory. This is meant to teach you as though you've never played before. So unlike a game of make-believe, D&D gives structure to the stories, a way of determining the consequences of the adventurer's actions. Players roll dice to determine whether their attack hit or miss, and whether their characters can scale a cliff, roll away from the strike of a magical lightning bolt, or pull off some other dangerous task. Anything is possible, but the dice make some things more probable than others. So we'll get into that. We don't need to do that. So looking at that, so this is the original 5th edition starter set when it was in just as it came out. It is 31 pages. Yeah, it definitely feels thicker versus 43 pages. Mm-hmm. So
I thought it looked a lot thicker.
Table of contents. Chapter 1, how to play, is the same. Chapter 2, order of combat, movement and position, actions of combat, making an attack, cover, damage and healing, that's all the same. Even the page numbers are the same. Chapter 3, adventuring, travel, resting, rewards, equipment, that's all about the same, slight difference of page number by 1. Chapter 4, spellcasting, the same, all the way up to page 24, 23 in this one, 24 in this one. But this has appendix, so then it goes spells 24, and then it goes up to appendix page 32, and then conditions, page 32, and then that's it. This one has appendix A, magic items on page 32, appendix B, monsters on page 34, so we got 2 pages of my magic items, and conditions is clear down on page 43. So we have under monsters 9 pages of monsters.
In the original, the monsters are in the module.
In the adventure module, yeah. So
right.
they combined some of the adventure module into the starter set rulebook.
Which I disagree with, because that's the one you're going to hand to the players
right.
to look things up. And now we're going to look up the monsters.
Yeah, you don't want the players having the monster stuff, because they'll metagame it. So, interesting that they made that choice. I wonder what their reasoning was. As far as who did this, the names on there, it's different names. Who did this design? It doesn't say on
Okay.
It doesn't say on here.
Well, there's supposed to be going on the myth that Mike Wheeler wrote it.
Yeah, I don't see... No, I know it's the myth, but... It didn't say right on the front who written by, edited, anything?
Nothing. Just Hasbro Gaming and Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, it doesn't do that on the original either. The original doesn't say who did it either. Interesting. If you do the starter set, you don't get any credit.
Well, is it in the book?
No, not that I've seen. Maybe
first
in the
page?
back. No,
it should be on the first page inside cover.
Nope. There is no. It goes straight into the rules. To the last
Maybe
page.
it's because they didn't write the rules.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. There's no author.
There's no credit.
No credit to any author in either starter set. So let that be a warning to you. If you get commissioned to do a starter set, you will get 0 credit.
Yeah, because it literally has the playtesters on this version.
On the adventure.
On the adventure.
Yeah, let's see about this. So here's the adventure book for Stranger Things. This is the adventure book Hunt for the Thessal Hydra, a D&D campaign by Mike Wheeler, the character from the show. All right, this one does have credits. Adventure Stan exclamation mark. Just Stan with an exclamation mark.
That's because that's his mark.
His trademark name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think you're looking.
And he's been around for a long time.
This is the adventure. This is the adventure.
We were comparing the wrong things.
I was comparing these two, Starter Rulebook and Starter Rulebook.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I was not comparing that. I was comparing these two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were comparing the wrong things.
I was.
Because we already commented that they separated that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm at the adventure book. And then also Ben Petrosor is the other one for the adventure. Cartography, also Stan. Rulebook. Oh, here we go. Now it's pointing back to the rulebook from the adventure book. That's weird. Jeremy Crawford.
That sounds familiar.
That does sound familiar. Now, does that have the credits in the adventure?
So what did you say, Mike Wheeler?
No.
No. Jeremy Crawford. Mike Wheeler's the mythical.
Oh, yeah.
The character from the story.
No, it goes right in. Introduction,
Okay.
running an adventure, dungeon
D&D
master.
lead designers, Jeremy Crawford and Mike Merles, but that's just the overall D&D.
Mm-hmm.
5th edition D&D design team, Christopher Perkins, James Wyatt, Rodney Thompson, Robert J. Schwalb, Peter Lee, Stephen Townsend, Bruce R. Cordell, and then additional contributors, Greg Blisland, Matt Cernett, Chris Dupuy, and nobody cares if I read all this out loud, sorry. And it still says game created by E. Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson with Brian Bloom, Rob Kuntz, Jave Ward, and Don Kay all listed. Isn't that interesting, John?
I was looking up Stan. What did you say?
Based on the original Dungeons and Dragons game created by, and it lists all of the following. This is notable because of all the lawsuits.
Okay.
E. Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson, comma, with Brian Bloom, comma, Rob Kuntz, comma, James Ward, comma, and Don Kay, all listed.
All the original people that worked on it.
That
Yeah.
there were different lawsuits during when they started to limit who was listed in the earlier editions.
On
That's
N-World,
interesting.
there are a lot of articles about James Ward right now.
Yeah, yeah,
So the
Okay.
reason Jeremy Crawford probably sounds
familiar.
familiar is he wrote for D&D 5e
Right, with Mike Merles.
Tales from the Yawning Portal.
Okay, well, he's one of the lead designers with Mike Merles for 5th edition in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he's familiar. So anyway, so here's the cover. Danielle,
Oh, yeah.
let's fix this so that it stays.
I don't
We
know
want to
why
make sure.
two.
We want to make sure that is.
Here,
Yeah,
one
get
second.
that out
I
of
don't
the
know
way,
why
yeah.
that's there.
Yeah. We want to make sure that stays visible for people tuning in.
Okay.
So here is the adventure cover, and notice the artwork on the first inlet page, because remember this is meant to be like a kid who's doing his own adventure. So it's got a kind of color pencil drawing of Will the Wise, the Wizard. You can go ahead and show everybody there here now that the audience has seen. Ooh,
Oh. Is there
Pop
enough
impression.
not light behind it?
And then show everybody the text on the first page there too. Don't read it, but just show it.
Looks like
And then put it on
Someone
under the
wrote it?
camera to show everybody. Yeah, so it's meant to be in a font that's supposed to be kind of written. Spidery font.
Is there a reason for having that drawing? Is that
it's just
It's just so the point is it's supposed to represent something like this. So I've had this since the 1980s, I think, because that drawing I did back when I was a kid, which has been torn off. But it was one of my first higher level. It was a paladin, and if I remember correctly, and it was Jonathan Wurzel Bastable III, who made it all the way through the Demon Queen adventure and stuff. With my game master was Clifford Bowie Husted, who's now a corporate attorney in Houston, Texas, I believe.
So this
But so this is just a ledger ruled graph book, right?
Yeah.
This is a common thing to get to work to put your adventures together. So that is meant to, if you look even, it's got the binding. See, it's meant to represent that kind of from the 80s, because that book's from the 80s, and this is meant to replicate that experience from the 80s.
Anymore.
I know it's gotten beaten up over time. This is pretty old.
So
is this basically instead of starting from scratch and creating your own?
Right, instead of starting from scratch, this is a pre-created adventure we're going to play through instead of making it ourselves.
Which is referred to as a module.
Yeah, it's an adventure module. Because again, this is assuming you've never role-played before, and it's going to walk you through step by step how to play it. So I've got in mind just tons of maps and notes. I mean, I have years and years of maps and maps. And this is a graph paper, so I use it. But you see I've got notes and stuff as well.
So... Planus Primus Avernus Rulers Tiamat. So I was talking about the different planes of such. So this is meant to kind of replicate somebody's GM handbook of their campaign world, which this is what this is. This is multiple campaign worlds I've got in here. But okay, so I took a corner peek.
Yep.
Up into the rest of the book, and it continues like that. Which
Yeah,
is,
in that style. Which is going to be really hard for people with reading disabilities. So, Dots RPG is one of our sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
And so she helps make these wonderful Braille dice that we... I'll go ahead and show the mascot. Oh, and our dice aren't here because they're in the kit, aren't they?
Yep, they're somewhere.
We need to keep one set out here because we reference every show. Anyway, dotsrpg.com. It's on Twitter at dotsrpg. Jess is wonderful. She was on our show Monday. Anyway, so this is done in a handwritten style. Now, the good thing is they didn't put a bunch of artwork behind it. They did a weathered paper look. It's meant to look like college rule note paper. And so that's not too bad. But the font is going to be really hard for people with dyslexia to read. Or visual impairments is going to be... Now, it's a larger font, so that's helpful.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, is that it's still readable.
Because it's large.
Because it's large.
But because it's handwritten for people with dyslexia, it's going to make it harder to read. The same thing with that Jacob was struggling with, and even Shane's been struggling with on Dresden fonts.
Yeah.
That rulebook's horrible because there's artwork behind everything, and it's often handwritten in a tough scrawl to read, which artists love to do, but is not helpful. It's not accessible and inclusive.
And I almost wish
we've been trying to get everybody stop doing all the artsy fonts and artwork behind the font because you are excluding millions of people from the joy of role-playing gaming every time you do that. We're talking to you. If you're a game designer. So it's great to put all the artwork around it. That's fine. Put all the artwork you want here in clear areas and all that. But use the clearest non-serif font, like sans serif or something like that. And in a larger font style if you can, as large as you can afford. This is a large. The size is good on this. I like how large. If they just did this as a clean sans serif font, this would be really accessible. The slight fading and weathering, that's all okay. It's not bad. That's not going to be a big impact. It's subtle
and
enough.
The lines are actually
helpful. Yeah, the lines will probably help be able to follow along with your finger and such with dyslexia and other disorders. That's actually, the lined paper would probably be helpful. We'll have to test that with you to see. But you can see he's got his own renderings of the different monsters and such, which is great. So that's fun. So again, it's meant to be just like my book. This I probably started when I was about 13 or so, when I was starting to... I was a paid game master. People actually paid me to run games when I was 13.
I think that's how Mike Wheeler is.
And so this parallels, and that would have been about 1983 for me. So it's very close to what the show is supposed to be. Although it's not about me, obviously. I had a very different life than his character.
You weren't attacked by supernatural creatures?
Well, that aside too, I was also a basketball player, and martial artist, and outdoorsman, and everything else. So there were a lot of other differences. I happen to play D&D as well. And computer programming.
You were a jock with a brain? What?
I wasn't a jock either. All right. So this has, drawn by Will the Wise himself. He has him looking in the jar. So, notes to myself as Dungeon Master. We should be able to finish the story in one night. Maybe a long weekend if Dustin really gets caught up in the role-playing. But don't rush it. As long as everyone's having fun, let it take as long as necessary. It's all about the fun. Describe each scene. Tell them what their characters see or hear or feel at the start. Then just let them go. And that's a really important thing. Use multiple senses. Some people have a disability known as...
aphantasia.
Aphantasia, good job. And what is, John, what is aphantasia?
Aphantasia is literally the inability to imagine. You
Well,
can't form pictures in your head.
it's not an inability to imagine.
Just from the description.
It's the inability to visualize from verbal descriptions. It's not about imagine. There's all kinds of imagination.
Okay.
It's emphasis on visualization.
Cannot visualize from verbal. How about written descriptions?
Same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Any
description.
textual, verbal description of a scene, they can't visualize it. If you use other senses, they often can imagine the other senses. That's why it's not about imagine. They have imagination.
Yeah.
People with aphantasia have no less imagination than people without it.
So if you're like,
But
the
they can't
doors,
visualize.
like,
So if I say,
damp,
can you
would
see
touch
this
it?
scene? So like we gave that example scene here. So close your eyes. Everybody on the stream, close your eyes. I'm going to read the scene again from the very beginning. And I want you to visualize in your head the scene. And then I'm going to ask each of you to describe your version of what you see. The castle stands among the trees. The crumbling ruins of 7 round towers jutting up from it like broken teeth. An archway littered with twisted shards of rusted metal gapes open at the top of a short flight of steps. 2 of the towers, speckled with dark arrow slits, loom beside the entryway, and a dark hall yawns beyond. Danielle, can you see it in your head?
Mm-hmm.
John? Riley? David? Sort of. Okay. I'm going to pick on you, David. So, describe the scene that you see in your head.
For me, it's quite dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of picture one of those castles with like sort of bats flying over the top.
Okay.
And there's like the yellow lights coming out of it.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
you can't really picture the brickwork because it is dark, but
Okay.
it's sort of like a silhouette against
Okay.
the background of what you can see.
Okay. Interesting. And it's interesting the added details that you filled in there, which is very, very typical. Because I didn't say anything about lighting or any of that. However, now, close your eyes again. I'm going to read this in a different tone of voice and tell me if anything changes for you. The castle stands among the trees, the crumbling ruins of 7 round towers jutting up from it like broken teeth. There's an archway littered with twisted shards of rusted metal, and it gapes open at the top of a short flight of steps. 2 of the towers, speckled with dark arrow slits, loom beside the entryway, and a dark hall yawns beyond. Did that change anything for you in your visualization?
That's crazy. It switched from dark to light.
Yes, didn't it, though?
I think that's
What was different?
It's probably the tone of your voice.
Yes.
It sounds very upbeat.
Yes. Made all the
Wow.
difference in the mood of the scene, didn't it?
That's crazy.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool?
Wow.
David has never role played before, so fresh guinea pig.
What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Nice to meet you. Wait,
So-
you went to Skype in, or was that somebody else?
No.
We have several Dans.
Dan
We
will
have
also
Danielle.
Skype in.
We have Danielle, Daniel, and we have Daniel from Brazil.
Dan from Brazil, I thought it was.
It's Daniel as well.
Oh, God.
Can we just
So the
calm
only
down?
difference between our names is an
Yes.
L and an E?
Yeah, you have an extra L and E, yeah.
And I'm not in Brazil.
Number 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, so I've been calling him Spokane Dan and Brazil Dan.
You get location.
But wasn't that interesting? Just that tone of voice and meter and stuff. Well, I didn't change the words, but I totally changed the delivery, and it completely changed the visualization for you.
That's quite a well-learned skill.
Yes,
Have that.
and we do entire workshops on game mastering and on voicing and all these things, and it takes time. It is a lot. That's why we ask volunteers to commit for a long period of time, because it takes a long time to learn all this. This is a complex activity. A lot of the games you can pick up and play right away. This one we can get playing pretty quickly, but to really master it, it can take a lifetime.
And to
Yeah,
be
right
on the
now,
other
mine
side
is.
of the screen takes
Yeah,
a while.
get used to that. You will
Wow.
get a good brain workout
Yeah.
from this. And many different parts of the brain, right? Because we're working creatively, we're working analytically,
Yeah.
verbally, visually. But anyway, each of you were able to visualize that scene, right?
Mhm.
Okay, somebody with aphantasia could not do that. They would not be able to. They'd be able to repeat back to me. Well, there's something about some trees and towers, maybe 7 round towers, I think he said. They're going to memorize the facts. And they'll get that. They can listen to the words and memorize the facts, but they're not going to see it in their head visually. They're not going to understand the spatial relation. So that's why then we use battle mats, miniatures, whiteboards, things like that to help them. Because if you do that, then they can track, they can follow along what's happening. For people with aphantasia, just relying on story, theater of the mind is what it's called when you don't use physical props like miniatures and stuff. It's called theater of the mind. That leaves out people with aphantasia big time. And you'll notice it had a few senses in here, or at least he mentioned in the other one. He said to take into account when he describes each scene, what you see or hear or feel. Don't forget taste, smell, right? Gustatory, right? We talk about a whole range of senses that you can use as adjectives when you describe a scene to help people feel that much more immersed in a scene.
Or you can always have them roll for whether their stomach
Sure.
growls.
Yeah, sure. All right, so again, describe each scene, tell them what their characters see or hear or feel at the start, then just let them go. They say what the characters do, and I tell them what happens. But don't take control of their characters. I control everything else. The monsters, the non-player characters, NPCs like Sir Tristan, even the environment like traps. And the dice reveal how things turn out. So the Dungeon Master doesn't even know how this will turn out. That's part of what's cool about it. All creatures written with an underline can be found in the monsters section of the rulebook. So you got to jump to the rulebook. Oh, and that's all right, because that can let you leave the monster section here. But so it says if the monster is written with an underline in the adventure, it's found in this rulebook back in the back there.
That's probably why they did it with the
Maybe.
aesthetic feel.
It would have been better to have it as a separate book.
Yeah, a third book with the
So you don't
monster-
want to give the players the monster stuff. So
the
that's a
monsters
problem.
and magic items in a third book would have been best.
Or just stick
And for
them
people
in,
like
keep
me
them in
who
the
are
adventure.
gonna need the spell book, so can I get the other one, the starter?
Well, we don't know that they're the same.
Oh.
We don't know if they're the same. They could be different.
Oh,
We don't
that's
know.
true.
Don't worry too much about getting the rules right or being perfect as a DM, and we emphasize that. Generally, we don't take this much time, but again, we're sharing with people here about this particular version of D&D that has come out, the Stranger Things version. And so generally we just start like the narrative, like I describe a scene and I say, what do you do? And that's how we start playing. We jump in that quickly normally.
Okay.
When we're not doing an analysis like this. Like the rulebook says, my job as DM is to make sure everyone has a good time and that the story moves along smoothly. The whole story. The characters have been summoned by Sir Tristan, the ruler of a small domain in a lonely stretch of mountains.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah. By the way, spoilers. Now we are going into the adventure, and I am spoiling it for probably some of the players because I'm reading aloud the notes to the DM.
Right.
So normally the DM would not. Now we like it better when the module has a section that says read this part aloud. But let me see if it says that, because right now it looks like it's just giving background, which that's bad for a beginning gamer.
Because they'll sit here and read it aloud. Their
Yep.
players.
Well, or they won't know how to summarize it. If you're brand new to this, yeah. So that's a mistake. Again, they're not copying the Beckme approach. I wish. Why is that so hard for people to do?
Do they have it?
I don't think anybody's bringing it up to them.
It's just another. I mean, how can it be from 1982? Anyway, all right. Another one of my pet peeves.
So if you're brand new,
Yeah.
like the information that I would start the game with. would
So
be-
they gave you
would be a
this.
sheet of paper.
You're supposed to read this. If you're the dungeon master, not the player.
If
I
you're
mean,
the
but
player,
if I
you
was
do
like-
start off with.
Okay, so if you're the player, which you are, you're a
Yeah.
player. You get a character that's already pre-made. You pick one, and just like we did.
Yeah.
And then I say, okay, we're going to just jump into this adventure. You guys have all met, and you guys have all gathered together because you've been summoned. So here you are. You've all been summoned by Sir Tristan, the ruler of a small domain in a lonely stretch of mountains. So they claim. Oh, does he have his character sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you grinning?
I have a character name.
Yeah.
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 What is it?
My name is Star.
Okay.
Star Bloom Moonflower.
You're an elf?
For hippies.
Okay. All
He
right.
is a wood elf.
All right. That works.
Yeah, that's
Tree
why.
hugger. Yeah. So, apparently, a terrible monster called a Thessal Hydra has been attacking his realm. It is a strange and dreadful creature with 8 heads surrounding a large circular mouth rimmed with jagged teeth. Its maw drips with acid, and its tail ends in a pair of sharp pincers. Tristan is asking your characters to get rid of this menace. Now, I'm paraphrasing this paragraph here. The way this is actually written is, and I mean, I went very close to it, but I had to add a little dramatic effect to it instead of just reading, because here's what most beginner GMs would do. The whole story, the characters have been summoned by Sir Tristan, the ruler of a small domain in a lonely stretch of mountains. A terrible mountain monster called a Thessal Hydra has been attacking his realm and is a strange and dreadful creature with 8 heads surrounding a large circular mouth rimmed with jagged teeth. Its maw drips with acid and its tail ends in a pair of sharp pincers. Tristan asks the characters to get rid of this menace. That is what a beginner DM is going to do because of the way this is written. Rather than, I'm grabbing my Beck-Me. I might as well just keep that on the table. Oh, it's in the other room. Never mind.
Oh, it's because you got your research pile.
Because I got my research pile in the other room. Anyway, what we think a good beginning adventure is they break it into boxes of what to read aloud to the players to set the mood and to teach a new GM how to read this out, and then summary info that the DM needs to know privately.
Yep.
This has no separation. This is all notes to the DM, and then somehow a beginner DM is supposed to be able to interpret this. So while this is okay for beginner players to play, this is not good for a beginner DM to just jump straight in. You're going to want somebody who already has a little bit of DMing experience to run this, or they're going to be kind of lost. I mean, they'll play it, but it's not going to. It's going to be very mechanical. It's not going to have the same feel.
You're introducing a role-playing game for therapeutic reasons, and you're trying to train up somebody, perhaps.
That's a whole other level if you add therapy to it. That's a whole other thing. Right now, we're just talking about just the basic gaming experience.
Yep.
And how, if I'm a person who wants to become a dungeon master for the first time, I've got my friends together, and I want to go through this module because it's Stranger Things. Oh, cool! I get to finally do this. But I've never GM'd before. I've never role-played before.
Yep.
And I'm the DM. Everybody else is the player. You guys will be fine. You're the players.
There's nothing even that tells them to read all the way through this first.
No, there's nothing that says that.
Does the rule book say that in the beginning?
It might be. It might be that the rule book says that. It probably does.
Getting started.
So here's the mistake I already made. I read the whole story aloud to you. On the next page it says, audience with Sir Tristan. See, I was already jumping in trying to wing an audience with Sir Tristan. But I was just supposed to read that as background info, and you guys weren't supposed to know all that.
That's why
It doesn't tell me that. It doesn't tell me that anywhere as a new DM. Again, experienced DM, you read through it all first, put it together, make notes, put script together, what have you. But this is supposed to be a starter set for absolute beginners. So on the 4th page, audience with Sir Tristan. Well, let me finish reading through the whole story here. Again, we're spoiler alerting this, so if you don't want to have it ruined for you, don't listen to the rest of this. We will be later doing Talisman, Legendary Tales, and Dungeon if we have time. The Thessal Hydra was last seen going, so this is total spoilers for the players too, last seen going into caverns belonging to an unfriendly tribe of troglodytes. The characters must enter the caverns and deal with the stinky trogs. Following the Thessal Hydra's trail leads them into a cursed labyrinth where they meet the Lost Knight. He will help them escape only if they prove themselves worthy by solving his riddles. The way to escape from the labyrinth, okay, I'm not going to read that one aloud, but it says, is... A new GM might not know not to read that aloud. They would be reading along going, oh, la, 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 la. Oh, crap. I just gave away the whole mystery. There the characters will meet a who has and wants with the characters. Shows them into the lair.
Oh my gosh. They don't even
If
tell
the characters can beat them and bring back to Sir Tristan, they have successfully finished this adventure. There's nothing indicating what the new beginner DM shouldn't be reading aloud there. Which, if he reads that aloud to us, they just ruin the whole adventure for the players. Audience with Sir Tristan. You have some questions, David?
Not yet.
Okay, okay. Start the adventure in Sir Tristan's throne room. The characters have met Tristan before. He sponsored them on an earlier adventure and proved himself to be a kind ruler to his people and a good friend to the characters. They can trust him. So again, DM shouldn't be reading this aloud. You're supposed to show, not tell. Sir Tristan says that lately a monster called a Thessal Hydra appears out of nowhere and attacks local farms, villages, and even Tristan's castle. All his soldiers together could barely fight it off. After each attack, the Thessal Hydra disappears in the woods and leaves no trace. Trail. Yeah.
Okay.
You finally found it?
I found a thing.
Okay.
Okay, it says, if one of your friends knows D&D, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Already,
Have
you
them
might
DM
want
it.
to ask them to, once you've read this chapter, which
Right,
is
the player chapter.
it's the
Just
intro chapter.
Yeah.
Once you've read this chapter, take a look at the first few pages of the adventure book.
Really? Well, that's bad advice. Because the third page gives away the entire adventure and how to solve all of it. If a player reads that, they've got all the meta knowledge to
That will
conquer
help
the
you.
adventure.
That will help you understand the role of the GM and the basics of the D&D adventure.
Yeah, if you're the GM, read it.
Yeah.
But if you're the player, it doesn't differentiate?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, it says
it's
have
the whole
GM
thing
read
before it is. If you're reading this, you're probably
Okay.
you're probably a step
All right.
ahead to
All right.
actually
Okay.
be the GM.
All right. So, more and more background info. This scene is all about conversation. The characters are talking directly to Sir Tristan, but there are others here too, royal advisors, guards who fought the monster, and such. They treat the characters well. They're the heroes Sir Tristan turns to in a time of need, give them confidence to take bold action. Sometimes Will needs to be reminded that he's playing a character, not just himself. Gifts from Sir Tristan, blah, 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 rumors on the... So, it's all background info, and a brand new DM is supposed to be able to turn that out into useful. Boy, that is not a good starter set. Because even Lost Mind Defend Delver is much more step by step, isn't
Right.
it?
And I'd like to point this out. I'm going to put it up here.
Okay.
That sentence is hidden in the middle of this paragraph.
So, starter set is the wrong word for this.
No, yeah.
This is not. It's fine for players, although even that, because it's third level, it's not really technically a starter set. But
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
I think if they left out the word starter set and just said Dungeons and Dragons
Set.
Everything
Introductory
you'll need
adventure?
to
I don't
embark
know.
on Stranger Things adventure.
Yeah, it's not a starter set.
Is all the information mentioned in that book that you're reading out so far? That's information which you should know.
The DM should know, and you as players should slowly unravel the clues through the narrative back and forth. So, let me give you an example. I haven't had time to fully prepare, right? That's the problem with this approach. You've all been summoned by good old Sir Tristan. You guys know him before. You worked with him before. You know you can trust him. You've all been summoned to his throne room. So you've come to his castle and his keep. You've been escorted by all the guards. Some of them you recognize and wave hello to, and they welcome you. Friendly smiles on their faces. They know you already to be heroes of the realm, and you're brought into the throne room. You all recognize him, looking a little more haggard than usual. Deeper lines of worry in his eyes. Looks like he hasn't slept as well, but you know he's a kind ruler and a good friend to all of you. You know your characters can trust him. After a moment of waiting and intense, slowly the court quiets down, and Sir Tristan stands and says, "Welcome, friends. It's good to see you again. Brave heroes of the realm. Hail and well met."
Hail and well met. I, Melgar the Wizard, greet thee.
Good to see you again.
I, Amelia, the Hill Dwarf. Hello.
And he throws a blurb at you in Dwarvish in respect.
I, Star Moonflower. Greet you.
Welcome once again, Moonflower.
Star.
Star Moonflower. It is
Just
a pleasure
Star.
to have you.
Just Star.
A pleasure to have you here again, Star.
Thank you.
I, Ragnar Crowflower III. Pleasure to see you again.
And the pleasure is all ours, and the honor is ours. Welcome.
Hey, bro, it's Jim. Great to see you again, mate.
You as well, bro. He looks askance at you. I'm not familiar with that colloquialism.
Are you?
I'm assuming...
That was part of his name.
Oh, does it mean brother? Is that what it's short for? I wasn't certain what it was representative of.
Oh, we go long
Hail
back.
to you, brother of arms, as well.
We're
Oh,
brothers.
I thought he was a cleric.
He's a pellet.
Oh, he's a brother.
I'm a cleric.
Oh. All right. So, the reason why I brought you here once again, a monster has been appearing out of nowhere. It attacks local farms, villages, and sometimes even our castle. All of my soldiers together could barely fight it off. After each of the attack, this creature disappears into the woods and leaves no trail. I can't send my guards after the monster. They must remain here to protect the castle. And we know my gods aren't strong enough to beat the monster, no offense, but to beat them out in the wild, outside of the safety of the castle walls. So I'm hoping, praying, that you, my hail-hearty heroes of the realm, will hunt down and kill this creature, and which we believe to be a fossil hydra with many heads. And we'd like you to kill it, remove its heads, and return with the heads, because I would like them stuffed and mounted over my throne. What say you?
Yay.
Hey, you have my wand.
Yay. You have my voice.
Hail! You have my
Huey?
mace.
Wait, don't if you cut the head off, two more grow back?
Details.
Well, then you have my longbow.
Sure thing, my longsword will be soon through one of their heads.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am so glad.
Kill it with fire.
So, of course, I know you being the heroes that you are, don't need any reward for doing these glorious deeds. But let me offer first a reward of 100 gold pieces each. And then, by the way, it makes a note of, well, if that's not enough for them, they can negotiate if they want to, get more and stuff. Is that a fair recompense for your efforts?
Spells are costly, you know. And I'm going to be burning through a lot of them.
Oh, that's true. You do have a good point there. Any other concerns?
My longsword I just bought last week, and that cost 30 gold coins itself.
Oh, yes, and it might not survive the combat with the Fossil Hydra. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Any other concerns?
Well, my healing isn't going to be if it took such a hard toll on your fighters. It's probably going to take a toll on our troop as well. I'm going to need to make sure that I have enough unguents for healing.
So healing potions.
Well, let me do what I can. With what you're saying, is 200 gold each enough? At least it's cash value. I'll help you with some of those items. All right.
Half up front?
Here, what?
Half up front?
Really?
So
we haven't built enough trust after all this time? You would
is healing better before or after you've been hurt?
After. Before, you're just redundantly...
You hear a gasp go through the whole court with that request.
Would you rather us try to get healing and have the healing potions before we get injured?
Well, wait. As I said, there are other items as well. I was just talking about your monetary expenses.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so we just had a little misunderstanding then.
Yes.
200 gold enough for your monetary expenses for your travel needs.
Yes.
Good. Here are 2 bags of holding. Who takes them?
Yes.
All right, so they each take a bag of holding. So on your post-it, write down a bag of holding each.
A bag of holding holds much more. It's like a TARDIS inside of a bag.
Do you know what a TARDIS is from Doctor Who?
I've heard of it.
Larger on the inside than on the outside. You
It
can just
holds
Mary Poppins
Mary
carpet
Poppins
bag. You
bag.
just keep stuff in, stuff in.
64 cubic.
It's dimensionally transcendent.
64
Oh,
cubic
it's in
feet.
Harry Potter as well.
4x4
Yes.
by 4.
Yes.
Actually, that's
I
more.
know Harry Potter.
Okay, great. Well, that helps me know what references to give. Each cohort effect, there.
Yeah. I can get the Harry Potter ones too.
So those 2 bags should be sufficient to easily carry all of the Thessalhydra severed heads.
Okay. If we don't feel they look too full of
And
gold.
for each of you, I will give each of you a ring of protection and a potion of healing.
Okay.
Extra
Thank you.
post-it note.
Sure. No, it doesn't really matter.
I'm wounded you didn't trust me to think of these things for you. I hope
No, what is healing?
this
Potion.
potion of healing, 1 potion of healing and a ring of protection. I hope in the future you'll trust me more.
I'm sorry.
I'm just forgiven, of course.
He just had a break with his 3rd wife. He's a little distraught.
And finally, I have 2 weapons to help you in your battle. One is this wand of magic missiles.
I'll take it.
You
You
can't
gonna
even
try to
use
grab
it.
I'm totally kidding.
Okay.
It's me or the bard.
And this great sword. It's made of some unknown black metal.
That'd be perfect for myself.
I was like,
Thanks, bro.
Its name is Winter's Dark Bite.
Winter's Dark Bites. That will bite the Thestrals.
So it
Gives
works as a
gold.
+1 greatsword, but when used against the Thessalhydra, it's a +3.
do not take off
And
the heads.
now you don't know what this is, but while in the upside down, it works as a +4. So just put greatsword +1, +3 versus Thessalhydra, +4 when in upside down.
I'm assuming the rings of protection are +1.
I'm assuming it doesn't actually say.
Does it say
Oh,
in
you know
the,
what? It'd be in the items. You've got the.
So
Yeah.
the ring of protection adds.
Yeah, there's an item section. There's
normally
a whole
adds
magic item
1 to
section.
your magic.
Yeah, it was an
in your
appendix.
hourglass.
Yeah,
so
it
that's
was
why.
one of the appendices.
Let me see.
Magic items. Wand of the War Mage.
Let me
Is
see
that
it.
you?
Let me see.
No.
Let me.
Give it to him.
Okay.
You shouldn't be reading all the magic items.
Stop that.
Cheater.
Pumpkin pie eater. Bag of holding,
So
potions,
it's actually going to be +1 plus.
armor,
So it's going to be +6.
+1 weapon.
So
It doesn't top of the normal sword.
Excuse
it's,
me.
well, since it's going to be a greatsword, it's going to be slightly different damage. I'm pretty sure the
Okay,
greatsword
wand of
is
magic
26.
missiles has 7
3.
charges.
Actually, since it's +1, it'll be 2d6.
With the wand in hand, you can use your action to fire the magic missile spell from the wand, no components required, and expend 1 to 3 of the wand's charges.
That's okay.
For each charge you expend beyond 1, the spell level increases by 1. So you can make it all the way up to 3rd level.
So
Okay.
that's a 1d8 or 1.
I better stop because the broadcast.
And so
Just so you know, Riley, if you want to stop and explain stuff to him, say, hey, can you wait a moment? I need to explain something to him. Because on the microphones, as far as the audience, we're talking over each other. So go ahead and explain that to him
Okay.
if you want. If you're explaining rules, wait.
I don't.
What are you explaining right now?
What the +1 to a
Yeah,
save
that's
is.
rules.
Okay.
We don't worry about the way we like to do introducing a game to people is not bury you with rules up front.
Yep.
Because people glaze over very quickly. We walk you through when it comes up that you need to learn it and learn in layers. Because neuroscience shows that's a much more effective way of learning and retaining information than fire hosing. Mass learning versus distributed learning. So what we do is, as it comes up and you say, I want to try to do something, or we will ask you, what would you like to do? We will walk you through then the rules of how to do that and the mechanics of how to do it. And you will learn it as you go. That's a much safer, more effective way to teach something new. Now, once you've been exposed to it, then you can go ahead and review quickly and do that, and that's fine. But if you wanted to decide to explain something like what is this and such, just say, hey, Hawk, I need to explain something to him.
we need to be courteous of our listeners because the microphones pick us up at the same time. And even though over here it's not bothering me, as far as everybody else is, it's in the same ear hole. So that's something, in a normal game where we're not broadcasting, that's not a problem. Side talk like that when we're getting ready, everybody's doing their side talk. Normal game, that's not a problem. This is where it's different between recreational use of role-playing gaming and entertainment role-playing gaming, where you have an audience. There are different rules and ways to play the game when you have an audience, when normally you don't have an audience.
Okay.
Is it like we don't have the...
We don't have surround sound. I've got it all down to mono, so it's not one ear or the other. It's just easier that way for everybody. So no special effects there. The music, I think, is in stereo when it's playing. But so when you use the wand, let's see, for each charge you expend beyond one, blah blah blah. You can use this wand even if you're incapable of casting spells, so anybody can use it. So it's a magical version of a shotgun.
Oh well.
The wand regains Ooh, this is nice.
Yeah.
It recharges. Regains 1d6 plus 1 expended charges each day at dawn. If you expend the wand's last charge, roll a 20. On a 1, the wand crumbles to ash and is destroyed. So
it's a good thing I don't give it to me. Do not give it to me.
Make a habit of not rolling the last charge.
Potion of healing. So everybody has potion of healing that heals 2d4 plus 2. So a D means dice, and we use polyhedral dice. So D4 means 4-sided die. And a 2 in front of it means 2 times. It looks like a pyramid. Pointy butt? So 2 times 4. So it'd give you a result of 1 to 4.
Yeah.
So 2d4 means 2 4-sided dice, or 2 dice 4. So simple math, 2 times d4.
And what is the difference between using 2 4-sided dice and
1 8-sided?
Oh, actually, I
2 to 8 instead of 1 to 8.
Yeah.
And it changes the curve, too. You're going to get a different results curve.
That's all D4.
Yeah, that one's really sharp.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm looking for that sword.
I can't wait till someone steps on this. It's going to be the worst day ever.
Well, no, I mean, I was looking for details of that sword outside of there, and there isn't anything additional, so it's only what's in here. Yeah, so it's just a great sword as far as damage, but he has those different pluses. So, rumors on the road. So, reading from the DM's notes, so again, the DM would not read this to the players, so again, spoilers. As the characters search for the Thessal Hydra, they meet other people along the way. Give them a few short role-playing encounters. Some NPCs have useful info and others are just distractions. But make sure the scenes are fun, or the group might ignore them, especially Lucas. He'll want it to be all business. So there's a merchant on the road, there's a traveling priest, there's a woodcutter, there's an elderly farmer. When the players start getting bored with role-playing encounters, it's time for them to find the troglodyte caves. They've wandered off following false leads, just have them luckily stumble upon the right one, so you're kind of railroading them back on track. And then we have got some maps in the troglodyte caverns. So here is a little bit of example of the role play with these non-player characters. You already met one non-player character, which is Tristan. And I play all of the non-player characters and monsters that you will run into.
So you don't just play yourself as a player?
I don't play myself as a player. I control everything in the world except your individual characters.
Yep.
You just control your characters. So, yes.
Ring of Protection +1. It's +1 to your armor class and +1 to any saving throws.
Yep. That's very nice. So you guys gear up and head out onto the road. And as you're out on the road, at one point, a merchant walks up to you as you're leaving the castle and offers you each an apple. Oi! These local apples tasted better before the Thessal Hydra arrived. That's why I'm sure the monster's lair is in the apple orchards to the north. But yeah, they're still pretty good. They're just not as good as they used to be. Yeah, please, each of you have one. Please, please. On the house. Wish you lots of luck. And it's a juicy, tasty apple. But I'm certain, because those orchards are really having a problem, it's got to be there.
She didn't die.
So I have the apple now and just put it in my pocket.
Okay, you don't need it? Okay, so
You did not eat it?
No, I did eat it.
He ate it after he took my pulse.
Oh, okay. You ate it.
I'm shining it.
You're shining it.
I put it in my pocket.
Put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocket. All right. Do you want to talk to the apple merchant anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you seen anything other than any signs of the festival around your orchard?
Well, just the screams and the calls of the gods when it's attacked, and the screams of the villagers and the people dying. Nothing other than that. No signs of it. No footsteps. No broken branches.
In the actual orchard, fighting.
Well, no. When it's when it's been attacking the villages nearby and outside our houses and the castle.
No footprints.
No footprints. No traces of it anywhere. Nobody's been able to track it at all.
So, have you seen any evidence of it actually being in the orchard besides the fact that the apples taste funny?
No.
Take another giant bite out of the apple.
And it tastes funny to her?
Nope. Now, I assure you, though, my apples are normally the best in the realm, and now they've got a little bit of bitterness to them, and the ones up north seem to have a little bit of wilt to them.
Do you have any apples from before the Festival Hydra?
I've got a whip store.
Would we be able to compare them?
Take me some doing to go get them, but I could do so if you wanted.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going way off tangent. But that's okay. The DM can allow them to go and explore and try these clues out, and that's fine. We're not going to do that with tonight's thing. But you just let the players try what they want to do, and the DM just lets them do it.
Just trying to get an extra apple.
Yeah, unless you're trying to move the game along. So when we do a community setting, we only have 3 hours. We want to get people from to the end of a certain part of the adventure. Then I would instead respond, well, no, I don't got any others, right? I would change my response because I want to move them along more quickly. It's called railroading. I want to move more along more quickly along the main storyline instead of them getting detached from the main line. But in an ongoing campaign where you can play for many days and there's no tight schedule, let them try anything. The players will come up with all sorts of wacky paranoid. The players are so paranoid. They'll come up with all kinds of things that you never thought of, and you got to quickly come up with ideas and let them try it out. And it'll be total dead ends, but it'll let them explore. And it gives them a sense of self-agency and such.
And so in the educational and therapeutic settings, do you usually do the shorter versions, or do you have...
Totally depends. So most therapeutic settings, because of cost, rehab centers, they have a limited amount of time. So sometimes in rec therapy, we only have them for a week or two.
Yep. And
so we may only get them for an hour once a day. Mm-hmm. So we have a limited amount of time. And so we do tend to railroad a little more for those.
Yep.
If it's a regular client that we know we're going to have them for at least a few months, mm-hmm. then we allow a little more flexibility with that. It's going to totally depend on what your timeline expectations are.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes you know, and sometimes you don't know.
Sometimes you think you know and you don't know.
So you guys get on the road. After investigating the apple orchard guide, not finding anything useful there, you get back on the road, and you've been traveling for a little while, and it doesn't tell me how long here. And you see up ahead a man in robes, moving back and forth an incense decanter and chanting.
Do I know this song?
I don't know. Doesn't tell me what kind of... So again, I have to fill in the gaps here. And again, in advance of running the game, I would do so. Normally I wouldn't just open the box and run it unless they provided it for me as a starter set like they should. So, no, you don't recognize it. You recognize it as some other smaller religion that you're not part of.
Okay.
But he sees you up ahead and pull the robe back a little bit, and you see his pale clerical face.
I am Dungeon Master.
Hail and well met, travelers.
Hail and well met, brother.
What brings you on this road?
We seek the Fessel Hydra.
I have heard strange tales of that.
What's have?
Well...
What are yours?
You know, many of the psalms say that often lesser monsters worship bigger ones. And I do know, some ways back that way, there are troglodytes in a nearby set of caverns. They might know something about the Vessel Hydra. Perhaps.
Those guys stink.
They do have a foul reputation.
But they might also have more information.
Do you know of any way that we may,
You speak Trog?
No.
meet with them without rousing conflict?
Approach them in peace, and the blessings fall upon you, and I'm sure all will be fine. And he puts the incense upon each of you as he goes by.
I give him 3 coppers.
Thank you, the church and blessing. Thank you.
You never give me 3 coppers.
You
I
can't sing.
serenade you all the time.
I'm an acolyte. I'm respecting the religion. You don't get respect.
I'm an acolyte as well.
All right, so there's a couple of other of these encounters to play through, and then lets you play with them. But eventually, you're supposed to go to the Troglodyte Caverns. Okay, remember we're doing tons of spoilers here, folks.
Yeah.
So we'll have one character. So one of you make an intelligence nature check. Who has... Now, this is a metagame question, and I discourage metagaming.
What is metagaming?
But does it
Metagame is
say?
where we're asking the stats, but it does say have one character, group's choice, make an ability check for intelligence nature if you're searching for the Troglodyte Caves, or a wilderness wisdom
Tree liquor.
survival if they're searching for the Thessal Hydra tracks, or another skill that matches their action. So it's kind of like you guys are supposed to say, well, I want to try to search for tracks, or I want to try to find the caves.
Yeah.
One of you would pick that. It's all standard stuff. But again, for a beginner DM, and for me it's kind of like that because I'm trying to just do it on the fly without pre-reading any of this, right? You saw us open the plastic to this. This is really, but you can't, this is not good for running on the fly. This is not a good starter set for a beginner DM who's never DM'd before.
Especially starting
Not
off
at
with
all.
3rd level characters.
Well, that makes them not die as much, and that's totally. You can do a starter set with 10th level characters. You're going to need to do it in layers, but you can totally do it. But the DM needs to have hand holding if they've never run it before. If it's a starter set, so
who I have, like you said, some meta
yeah,
conversation.
we'll do this quickly because I want him to have an
It's me.
experience of dice rolling.
What do you have?
Well,
+3.
what does he have?
So do I.
Okay, Riley.
Well,
I
so
got 11 intelligence.
well, it's for. So,
Do you have a survival skill, proficiency, nature?
Nature +0.
Okay, well, let's just let him try just to get the idea. So you're going to take a 20-sided die, an isododecahedron.
It's 20-sided die,
No, it's just an icosahedron.
also known as D20.
What?
It's just an icosahedron.
It's a nice die.
The decahedron.
Icosahedron, sorry, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, sorry.
That was
That was right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay, Riley.
That was no. No, that was from because I was recently doing something with the dodecahedron. That was what was it? There was something. It was a game or something. That was all about that. Oh no! It was a Doctor Who I was watching.
Oh.
It was a Doctor Who.
Oh.
They had an isododecahedron,
Mm-hmm.
12-sided big gold die. It was the fourth. It was the one you had to watch.
Right, 3rd Doctor.
No. It was Fourth Doctor.
4th Doctor's the one with the scarf.
Yes. Yes, it was Fourth Doctor. Maybe it wasn't one you watched. Maybe it was because of that.
Okay.
Anyway, it's Fourth Doctor. Anyway, that's why that was in my head. Thank you, Riley, for straightening out. Anyway, so you will roll that. You'll add any modifiers, which you don't have any. And what you're going to do is you're going to try to roll as high as you can.
You said
and
survival was the other stat?
either wisdom or survival. Now, the
Die
number
rolling skills.
I'm told here, you need to roll 12 or higher for success.
Did you say nature?
So
Nature?
there's a nature check with intelligence
Or survival?
or a survival check with wisdom.
Mhm.
He's survival.
Okay, does he have a bonus on survival? Great, add that bonus
Whatever you roll.
to your roll. So what is your survival?
+2.
Okay, so roll the d20.
So yeah, 10.
What'd you get?
11.
Okay, you rolled an 11?
Yep.
Now add your modifier from your
That's
skill.
That's
So now you have a
13.
total of 13. Now without your modifier, you would have failed the difficulty check 12. You would have been below 12.
Yeah.
But your modifier, because you have a little more ability, bumped up your die roll from straight chance to your character's skills, raised and modified that roll that you actually succeeded because your character had a little more ability.
Yeah.
And as your character advances through the story, those points will someone will go up slowly as you get better and better at these skills. Go ahead, Riley.
I just like to. He asked the question about what metagaming is, and we kind of just glossed over.
So yeah, metagaming is when we talk about the numbers and the stats.
Yep.
So I'm saying, what's your wisdom survival stat? That's a meta question. Versus saying, who here among our party is the best at surviving in the wilderness? Or who here is our best tracker? And none of you would say any numbers because you wouldn't, like if you and I were out camping, like we're all in a survival group out in the mountains here. And some of us are guides and some of us are warriors and some of us are astronomers or whatever. I wouldn't say to you, yeah, I've got a +2 to my wisdom survival skill, so I think I've got a better chance at this than you. I would say, yeah, I've been out in the wilderness for about 20 years. I grew up in the wilderness. I'm pretty good at finding these kinds of clues, so I think probably I'd be the best one. So that would be more of a role play approach versus saying, yeah, I got a +2 to my survival stat. That's a meta. You don't want your characters making metas, but to speed up the game, and it's a play style. Some gaming groups are all meta. They say their stats all the time, and that's a play style. We prefer to go less meta and get a little more immersion through the role play. But again, that's a preference. It's not... Role-playing gaming is flexible enough, and D&D is flexible enough. There's a wide range of ways to play the exact same game.
Do you find you use metagaming more for new players, or you'd like to get them immersed?
Yeah, we use metagaming more for new players to... Well, we bring it up as it's needed in numbers as it happens. We don't start metagaming, but we will, like I had to walk you through the numbers until you're familiar with it, then I don't have to. So I had to ask you, what is your survival skill? Normally, I would just say, go ahead and roll and give me your survival bonus. And you don't need to tell me the modifier. I might already have it. But you don't necessarily want the other characters or players to know. The other players to know.
So it's almost in tandem with railroading in that you want to speed the game up?
It's less speeding up the game. It's, again, play style and knowledge. So I can either kind of keep you in the dark about the mechanics of the game, or I can walk you through learning the game. And so initially, I'm going to walk you through learning the game. So I'm going to tell you, oh, you want to add that +2 modifier to that die roll. Here's why. That's very meta. We're talking about the mechanics of the game and how it affects the story. As opposed to saying, okay, go ahead and roll a die. And roll a die and tell me your survival modifier. Tell me your total. And then you tell me the total roll. And that's all you tell me. Like, we do that. That's part of the game. That's just part of the game. And then I'll go, okay, you're walking along. You walk for hours and hours, and you find no clues that are useful whatsoever. You don't have a clue if you failed the check. But I wouldn't tell you failed the check. I would tell you, and would you like to keep searching? It's been an hour, you haven't found anything.
So it could be that you pass a check and you don't find something.
Correct. It might be that you have to pass the check 3 times, according to whatever the scenario is. It might be so you search for an hour, you're feeling pretty good that you're on the right path, but you don't have anything definitive. It's been an hour, anything... But you've got a feeling you're on the right path. Do you want to keep trying? Yep. And you say, yeah, okay, I'll try for another hour. Okay, roll again. And then I'm still not telling you whether you got a success or failure. I'm showing you kind of, but you have to role play through that. That's different than just saying, oh, I need you to get above a DC 12 check on survival. And then that's meta.
Now, they could have had a scenario there where you don't find what you're looking for because it's not.
It might not be there.
I'm looking for a secret door.
And that's
there are no secret doors.
And that's another advantage of not using meta. Because if it's meta and you succeeded, because I've told you succeeded, and you don't find anything, now you know to stop. You're flipping the light switch on and off, and you know it should work and shouldn't work. But if I don't tell you whether you succeeded or failed, you might keep searching. You might spend the day searching, certain that there's something there, even though there's nothing there.
Wow.
But I won't ever tell you. Because your character has to make decisions for themselves without knowing the meta part. And that, for me, is a more interesting way to role play.
Another example would be, let's say, one character split up from the rest of the group and found a chest, and it turned out to be a mimic. So the chest is alive and eats the player.
Eats half
the
of
other
them.
People here, all the players know that character just got eaten.
Yeah.
but their players' characters don't, and so if they go into the room, they should play, if they didn't want a metagame, as if they thought that was just a normal chest as well.
Player knowledge versus character knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big one.
They could all die, basically.
What's that?
Everyone could die.
Yes.
Your players don't know.
Yeah.
But you do, so you're basically just walking into your own death.
Yeah.
And you know you're going, and you know you're walking into.
Yeah. There's a lot of layers of suspension of disbelief in different ways. And again, there's a lot of differences in play style. Different groups are going to have different dynamics and different preferences. You're going to have people who really like the mechanics. They're more wargaming and combat type, and they like the numbers. And they're just going to talk about the numbers all the time. They don't care about this narrative, voicing, storytelling stuff. That's all wishy-washy, artsy-fartsy stuff.
They want the combat.
Yeah, they want the grit. They want to get the maximum stats and abilities and tactical challenges, etc. They don't really care about all this other froofy stuff. And that's just a different play style. And that's why sometimes different groups will break into different kind of cliques, because some groups will like that style and others won't like it. Like, I don't like a group that's all combat numbers. I like a group that's a mixture. Like, I don't want one that's all just pure diplomatic intrigue with no risk or action of real, drags on for weeks before anything happens. I wouldn't enjoy that either. I like a mixture of the continuum.
Okay.
So everybody's going to have those preferences. Well, there are people who that's all they like is political
Do
intrigue.
you play video games?
And soap operas.
I feel like Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
That's sports games.
Okay.
You're going to get introduced to a role-playing game called Neverwinter Nights, which is a computer game.
Oh,
In fact, I'm doing that this
on the-
Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very cool, and it's the closest map to this tabletop experience.
Tomorrow, Friday night?
Yes, Friday night, 11 p.m. After his 8 to 11. He's doing 8 to 11, the Choose Your Own Adventure Interactive.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do Neverwinter Nights, 11 p.m. till I drop.
Okay.
So, in terms of like Grand Theft Auto, it'd be the difference between like someone who
I'm not doing
goes in
all
and
night marathon, but
does all the cheat codes so they can have exactly what they want, and someone who goes in and actually tries to play the story mode.
That's me.
So the next part of the adventure then is eventually you find the Troglodyte Caverns, and then there's a map, and the map has different sections detailed and it has a number. And that number then tells me what each section is. So Area 1, Cave Entrance, a successful DC 15 Intelligence, again, more spoilers here, or Wisdom Survival check reveals that the cave's mouth has recently been visited by about 25 troglodytes, the Thessal Hydra, and an owlbear. Now, I would not just read that out to you.
An owlbear.
Yes. Instead, I would say, everybody roll roll your D20 investigation or survival, whichever is better. So everybody roll a D20. And then add either your investigation or survival skill.
I would like to assist somebody.
Let's not confuse the issue with that. He's brand new.
So I've got 17 plus.
So we take turns. So you notice I've been doing it kind of in an order here. So we take turns, because if everybody just throws numbers at me at once, I'm like, So there's a lot about turn taking. So John, I'll come back to you, John. Danielle, what did you get?
I got an 18 plus. I'm sorry. What were we adding to it? I lost that.
Either investigation or survival.
Oh yeah, definitely adding investigation.
Okay.
So 23.
Okay, 23. Dan?
13.
Okay, total?
Yeah.
Okay. Riley?
13 total.
Okay.
And 19 total.
All right.
16 total.
All right. So, John's character, Danielle's character, and David's character, you find this cave entrance, and you see lots of tracks in the ground and the mud and the turf there. And it looks like many troglodyte feet, and maybe what you were told to expect of the Thessal Hydra, and maybe an owlbear have all been through here recently. You can't quite make that out. Now, Danielle, you're able to tell it was 25 troglodytes. One Thessal Hydra and an owlbear were here, and they were here recently.
Wait, what did she roll?
23.
23.
Yeah, that would do it.
So
I rolled an 18
there
plus
isn't
6.
the rules in D&D. Unfortunately, don't really
No,
have gradients of
that's not
success or
right.
failure
I
per se. They've got a little
24.
bit,
Yeah.
but not really.
I was wrong. 24.
Okay. Other role-playing games have better gradients of success and failure.
Yep.
But we like to add that if you get really way above, because you only needed a 15 or higher to succeed, that, the more above it is, the more info I might give you.
right? More specific. And, you know, if it's important to the story, if a success, you should give everything that's critical. The other stuff you could hold off on until somebody gets a better roll or something.
Yeah.
So now that's not written in the rules. Again, that's a GM style. Each GM is going to do that differently. D&D does not allow for gradients of success and failure in a great way. But I come from role-playing games as well that have wonderful gradients of success and failure.
Rollmaster.
Many others. Rollmaster and many others.
That's the one that comes to my
game
mind.
Doctor Who has gradients.
Yeah, lots of them. So, all right. So you get the idea. We've spent enough time now on the Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons beginning of the starter set. Given David here just a little bit of example of D&D. It's coming up on 8 o'clock, so I want to try to still squeeze in the other two. Talisman's supposed to be 40 minutes max, 20 to 40.
So should we just do Talisman and maybe
I'm thinking,
hold off Dungeon for later?
Yeah, well, we certainly do the initial part. So Danielle, if you want to switch to Talisman, let's go ahead and put all of this stuff away.
Yep.
We will maybe, if people want, you guys want us to schedule this for an applied gaming at some point.
Should we keep this page going?
Put all of them back in the box. Keep your Post-its on there and everything.
Oh, on there?
Yeah, because I'll make photocopies of these.
Oh, I was kind of retracting.
If you want to play later,
I'm just gonna have to remember that name then.
keep your Post-its. Yeah, that's the Thistle Hydra. Yeah,
Okay.
totally different. Yeah. Totally
Okay.
different.
It's not totally different than the picture they have in the book.
I need books.
No. I mean, okay. Yeah. All right. I'm thinking of Demogorgon, but anyway.
Yeah, the Demogorgon
It's
is
totally
totally
different.
different.
Yeah. That's what I was. Yeah.
When I looked over and saw that, I was like, you're going to have the deepest voice.
Danielle.
Yep.
And then this is okay. This is starter kit. Did you guys find my rule book to my starter kit, or is it still missing?
Well,
Because
it's,
my starter kit got cleaned out at one point, but I swear we found
We
pieces at one point.
found it and took it out of the other kit, so
Yeah.
it's somewhere around.
It needs to get back into mine. All right, so that was Stranger Things. Now we're going to do Talisman Legendary Tales unboxing and playthrough. This one is for 1 to 6 players, and it is a cooperative game. It's not a role-playing game, although it has role-playing game aspects, but it doesn't have the continuity and continuing and distinctive characters and all of that. It's a board game, but it's got a role-playing game style to it, even though it's a board game. But what we really like about is that you can play it by yourself. It says solo. You can play this game all by yourself with nobody else, and up to 6 players total, which that is unusual for a board game. I think it was Shane who'd recommend we try this out. So,
You're
Danielle.
going to head out, aren't you?
Yes. So why don't you come take the seat?
Okay.
Come take the throne. Take the con number
9.
9. What is your volunteer number?
7.
So take the con number 7. Yeah. We've been busy.
I've been trying. Every week I try and put something back.
Don't try. Only do not. There is no try.
I do. I put things back.
How many
I
people-
even reorder shells.
What's that?
How many people are you expecting to be here on Friday at 11?
Here
Yeah, well,
at PM.
yeah.
You don't have to. Being here is totally optional. It'll be online
Okay.
if you have Nevernights installed. If you don't have it installed, we have like 8 laptops that are
Okay.
installed
Well,
here.
okay, I have a laptop I just would need to buy. I just don't know which one to buy because they're like
Just the $20 enhanced edition.
Okay.
So
You could get just the diamond version if you want it. They've got it for the phone now on Android, and it's only $10. And
I guess I'll take
it
after.
plays
No, I
cross-platform.
want to use the
So you'll be able to
Thank you
join
to
the same
DOS
server.
RPG for the.
Do you
the
know if
sharp
it's compatible
light.
with the older version?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
If you have Nevernights Diamond, it's compatible with the Diamond edition, not Gold or Platinum. It has to be
Yeah,
Diamond.
just throw that wherever.
I
it fits.
have.
That was the last update.
Okay.
It's like 1.6 something.
I have the original.
I know. I have all of the
Fantastic.
different. I have all of the different iterations through Nevernights that came out as they came out, and multiple copies of.
Okay.
So
Please go back up to the kit.
5 of
Can I
the
make you do it?
legendary
Just-
yeah, thank you.
talismans have disappeared. Evil forces seek to find them in order to seize the crown of command, a magical artifact of immense power. brave heroes that you are, you have banded together to go on a quest to retrieve all 5 talismans, and thereby stop the evil powers from ruling the world. This task won't be easy, as finding each talisman is an epic adventure in itself. However, if you work together, using everyone's abilities and help one another when you can, you will succeed. But be careful. You don't turn into a toad. So, thank you, Dots RPG, for the really sharp die. I'm going to use it to cut the plastic. Oh, it did cut. It just didn't cut very well.
I have an actual cutting tool.
I've got it.
It's called my teeth. Rip it open.
It only made a small hole.
Do you have a
because
fang?
Maybe.
That was a They Might Be Giants song. I've got a fang. I've got a fang. Open up a can of tomato juice. It's a very funny flat song.
It's a good thing I have long arms. Oh, yeah, arms.
Is it sideways?
Of course it is. You want me to go over there and do that? Or do you want Dan to do that for you?
I will take this. If you guys want to
Pop out all of them?
Okay.
We have an arts and crafts project to do.
make sure you do it over the dungeon so that everyone can see. And dungeon actually got pulled down. It was up higher. That way you can see where you need to be.
A little to the right.
This is a cooperative game by Michael Palm and Lucas Sack for 1 to 6 adventurers, 14 years and up.
Everybody who's at least 14?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm only 9.
Many
9 or
centuries
9.
ago, legendary Smith forged the Crown of Command, a magical artifact of immense power. Whoever wears it, the Crown of Command will hold power over all of the land. Decades ago, a powerful wizard sealed the Crown of Command behind the Portal of Power to prevent evil forces from attaining it. Only those who possess one of the legendary talismans may pass through the portal to reach the crown. Go ahead and pop things out, because that's going to take a bit. Over the years, 5 of the talismans have disappeared. Enemy forces now seek to find them in order to seize the Crown of Command for themselves. Brave heroes that you are have banded together to go on a quest to retrieve all 5 talismans and thereby stop the evil power behind these enemy forces from ruling the world. This task won't be easy, as finding each talisman is an epic adventure in itself. However, if you work together using everyone's abilities, it's a lot of the same thing.
It's repeating itself.
Yep. Okay. Objective of the game. The players must work together as an adventuring party to recover the 5 legendary talisman that have been lost. During each adventure, the party will endeavor to recover one of the lost talisman. The adventurers are described on 5 different adventure scrolls. The adventure scrolls look like this. Whoever's getting those, collect them together.
What? I can't see.
They're the bigger ones.
What are the big ones here? Like those?
No.
No, they're probably underneath the thing there.
Yeah, that's why I said start popping.
Yeah.
Popping.
Oh yeah, there's still
Once you pop,
a bunch more.
We'll need Ziploc baggies. Oh, they supply Ziploc baggies to put your cards in.
Yay!
That I've never
Good
seen.
thinking on their part.
I
I've
have,
never seen a company do
But
that.
I open a lot of blocks. Oh my god, I opened a,
John,
okay,
here's your. He was over here by the printer.
a little
I blame
tangent.
Danielle.
I opened up a game, 2 days ago at Uncle's, and it had the most beautiful insert. It came apart into many different pieces. It was for a
It comes with
game
bags.
about 3 little pigs. Oh my gosh.
That's actually part of the game.
Yeah. And each, like, you could pull it out, the insert, and use it to house the resources during the actual game. And I just
These are
was
the
like,
actual
"Ugh."
scrolls.
Those are them? Oh, they're huge.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Okay. The adventures are described on 5 different adventure scrolls and must be played in order. You may repeat adventures, and you may play 1 or more adventures in each game section. After the course of the story, you will travel across the wondrous land and will have exciting adventures in which you must make important decisions and defeat yourself against the cruel enemies. As an adventuring party, you will succeed in each adventure once you have completed the final task and recovered the talisman. Be careful. You have only a limited amount of time. Each adventure scroll has a limited time track along the time counter. Steadily progresses. If the time counter reaches the crescent moon at the end of the time track, can you put those? Oh, they are. The crescent moon, you can see. At the end of the time track, falls and evil forces become too strong for your party. If you have not obtained the talisman by this time, you have lost. Okay, setup. Prepare rewards. Place all 24 reward tokens in the reward bag. So the reward tokens look like this. That one.
Gold one?
This one.
They have healer. Okay. All right. These are reward tokens.
Everything round.
And they go into one of the black bags.
They're round, but they have a half. The top half is a picture. Then there's a label, and then there's symbols below the thing.
Most of it.
So that is what it looks like.
It's even bigger on this page. I just didn't look. Choose a hero. Each player chooses 1 hero. Take the matching hero bag and decide whether you want to play with the male or female hero character. Take each character's figurines. So it looks like the color of the round. Oh, not the frogs.
Hey, John, can I have that half semicircle? Out there?
This one?
Yeah.
Instead of matching hero bag.
Yeah.
That's the black bags.
Yeah. A hero bag is C. Hero tag.
They should have tags on them. If they don't,
they don't have anything on them or read
look
off.
for some tags.
Do they?
There's supposed to be tags.
Oh,
on
the
each
tags are the we just punched everything out, so it's not.
Oh.
So those big guys are the tags.
Okay.
It shows in the picture actual tags on the.
Yeah, but they're not.
I think
they
we have
come,
to.
They don't come attached.
They don't come attached, and the bags don't. Okay.
Here you go. Other pieces.
Hero tag C for the magic hero bag. 7 hero start tokens. D. Oh, they look like your hero. They are literally your hero on a token on one side. And they're color coordinated. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to attach the tags to the bags.
Someone else sort out all of the...
Yeah, there's a lot.
I've sorted everything within my reach.
If you hand John a handful, he will help.
I feel like there's nothing in these pencils.
Ooh, nice kill.
Thank you. I mean, I was sitting right next to you. It took a while for you to notice.
So you're
I'm not
complaining
the
that
most
she's not looking
observant.
at your legs?
Yes.
Okay.
I have nice Scottish legs.
So do I.
And which Scott did you steal them from?
And is that your family plaid?
And does he
wish.
want them? And does he want them back?
No,
If he wanted them back, he would have told me.
Something for...
I don't.
Okay, you also need a hero figure. And the hero figure... Oh, is the figurine. It's literally the figurine.
Makes sense.
and you take both the male and female until you decide which one you want.
Missing gray and red top circle. Oh, well, there's a red one.
Okay, all heroes can fight and use magic. Some better than others.
This is added to your paperwork packet.
Heroes also have a special ability explained on their tag. Over the course of the game, your skill will improve as you gain new tokens to place in your bag. Note, you are always allowed to look into your bag to check what's inside. However, when you draw a token from your bag, you must first mix the contents and then draw what you are looking for. So the next part is to place the travel die somewhere where all players can reach it.
Here's a travel die.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's a travel die.
Yeah, and if you want to play, go ahead and choose a character. We'll start there with each of you choosing a character.
How many characters were there?
There's 6.
1, 2.
There's 6.
3.
He's counting how many bags he has.
4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
Is these things?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you want to look at probably the storyboard for each character. That would be on the other side, I think, isn't it?
No, these are the adventures.
Oh.
Like, if you're talking about storyboard, it'd be the tags.
Oh, it would be the tags. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd want to look at the tags.
And we have to put the hero, the coordinating hero tokens into each.
7 of the coordinating hero tokens into each.
Male dwarf.
There are 7. That's
female dwarf.
They're both in the same. It's just gray.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So dwarf.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Choose adventure. Open the book of adventures. It starts on page 7 of this rulebook. You will play adventures in order. You must start with the first adventure. Okay. Once you have successfully completed an adventure, you will place the talisman into the scoreboard, which is actually in this. So the brownie pieces that are the big ones, they go like this. One's right in front of you.
And they go into the box?
Yeah. Where on the other side.
Bias next to this bag.
Oh.
You put the
slots.
There are slots. And once you have successfully completed the adventure, you will place the talisman gently into the scoreboard, which that you're making the scoreboard right now. The book will also list the start location for your heroes, each adventure. Next, take the adventure scrolls and select one of the players to read the first segment of the chapter aloud. This provides you with the first task and the game begins. So really quickly, before we start all that, I'm going to read.
And David, if you need to use the restroom, it's just right through this door.
Oh yeah, sweet. Cheers.
I'm going to read the turn order so that way we understand, and anything else I will reference back to here when we start to do the so that way the big one goes in first.
This one?
Yeah. And it's actually backwards to you right now because it should no, not the board, the actual box.
Turn the box over.
There you go.
Like that and like that?
Yeah. Because every time you get one, it'll rest in there and look all da-da-da-da-da-da.
So like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, your turn consists of these 3 phases in order. Travel. Move from one location to another by the pathways or jumping with the gravestone swirly sign as seen below. Encounter. Deal with any face-up tokens. 3. Collect rewards. If any rewards improves the contents of your hero bag. Remember that your hero has an ability and they might be useful to use at any time during your turn.
What is this for?
The gold bag.
This is the gold bag.
Yeah, it doesn't say where to put that. Oh, it goes on the bag that has the
treasure. It's the treasure bag marker.
Okay, so those are the treasures. So
Okay. Really quickly, I'm going to go over them. We have the locations. We have a hero figure. We have a hero tag. We have a hero bag. We have a hero start token. Then we have 5 adventure scrolls, which are the big papers. We have adventure tokens, and there are 102 of them. We have toad tokens, which are 6 of. We have a time encounter, or time counter, which is what you'll use on the... Yep, we started the other one, from the looks of it. Time... you have a travel die. You have health tokens. These are 5 of them, and these are for some of the enemies you will encounter. You have 24 reward tokens. You have a reward bag for the reward tokens. You have 15 talismans, which is in. Oh, the talismans are the triangles.
Yeah.
okay, so these are thousands.
Okay.
You're supposed to collect 5.
We have 7 cloth bags total, and this rule book. That we can.
Okay.
So, you are ready for the first adventure.
I'm still a bit lost.
We got lots of tokens. We don't know where to go with.
That's fine.
Okay,
I mean, what do we do with them? Do we just set
We
them
have a white
aside?
token.
so I think we set them aside.
'Cause we got hearts and we got.
The hearts are for. I might just run this instead of being a part of it. Okay. Okay, so far you have gathered very little information about the location of the 5 talismans are here.
Okay.
The prince. Like farmers.
Great.
Dang it. Ooh, come with it.
Okay, can I have the big tokens for places?
Catch.
Hand to me.
Big beer coasters.
Okay.
Not for me.
He's too young.
It's a pint of root beer.
No, it's because I don't drink.
You're also too young.
No, I just choose not to drink, okay?
How old are
Because
you?
you're too young.
Yeah, too young. 17.
You're too young to choose to drink.
Yeah, well, no, I can choose to drink. It's just that my choice doesn't matter.
Can we move the dungeon and the talisman counter?
What?
Can we move all of this?
Oh, that's for me.
Is there a big board game for this as well?
This is the board game.
Oh, I thought it was like a game you fold out and you put the characters on there.
I think this is the board.
Very,
I think.
I'm making the board right
Like,
now.
I'm
Can you
guessing you're
remove that
using
from the
something
whole
like
thing of play?
Oh, okay.
So this is probably like almost more like a more visible RPG where you don't have to visualize exactly what's going on.
yeah, for this one's a little less like that because,
The other one was a true.
yeah, this is a fantasy board game, which is
I'm looking
exactly
for
what
the
it is.
forest.
So they had been developed almost for accessibility reasons, I'd say.
I've already passed it once.
More just of a different type of play, I guess. Instead of role playing, you're playing a board game because people.
It's
enjoy
a
that more
hybrid
than a-
technically, because it uses elements from both. Valley. Valley. Valley.
Okay.
Valley ruins. What? Valley. Ruins.
Is this green show up on the video?
No.
Well, I can make it show up, but it's primarily so that if we want a different background, we can show it.
Oh, so you're the IT person?
I am one of the IT persons.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So what is your role? Like, what do you do with your time here?
Oh, a lot of things. I'm a game master in training. I'm an artist. I do IT. I do some of the technical stuff.
You gonna be able to drop in tomorrow because
Castle?
he's also an artist and animator from West Africa. He's our newest. He's number 55, 56, and he's 57. But he's going to be at Drop In RPG Friday.
No, I'm not going to be able to make
no way. Not even just 15 minutes to say hello to him.
I'll be getting out at 5.
We're there till 7.
So just come in and say hi.
I just want to really just have a real get for them just one time.
I'll try.
meeting faces. 15 minutes is all I'm asking.
Okay.
We're the corner of Jackson and Ruby. General store. We're right at the north end of the general store.
That's downtown, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Ruby is division where
Oh,
division
okay.
splits.
The general store, yeah. I know where it is.
It's just south of Foothills. It's right after the division splits.
Mm-hmm.
It's right in front of the O'Reilly's parking lot.
Do you have the address?
Yeah, it's the corner of Ruby and Jackson.
Is it a store?
No, it's just a street corner. But the general store is the store we're just north of. So we're in front of the O'Reilly's on Jackson and Ruby. Just north of, the general store.
The name of the store is actually called the general store.
Yeah, it's called the general store. It's the name of it.
I was like, if we go inside there, then...
No,
you
we're
don't have to go
outside. We'll have the bus and trailer.
Yeah. Oh, got you.
You will see
At
the bus and
4
trailer on the corner.
So-
4 to 7.
So that way you can know what you look like online. David, it's that little picture. So you don't see most of the green except for there's something going on.
Wearing a green jumper.
Well, yeah, but that's
Well,
not.
but that's
nearly
dark
as-
enough that
It looks okay.
It's
looks
a
kinda
yellow green. It's a
I'm gonna
less
get-
natural yellow green color disappears. So, but
Whereas
it's
I'm-
fun to be a disembodied head.
Whereas I just look like I've got no lower half.
William
No,
Shatner.
you're fine. Look,
William Shatner, the talking
you're
head.
fine.
You could almost get a
big
360-degree
talking
camera and have it hovering down so you can check your VR headset on.
Yep. Which
We
we have
wish.
VR headsets as well, and AR.
Okay.
So tomorrow there's there's
Dropping our
Really?
Drop
Drop
in
in
RPG,
RPG.
Yeah,
4 to
from
7,
47.
and then
John is
John is
doing from
running
8
House
to
of
11,
Danger
House of
here.
Danger. Yep.
and so if I go to that, could I just stay here?
Yes.
Instead of, okay.
You're welcome to.
Okay.
Okay.
I will
wanna
be
just
leaving.
stay. Yeah, if you want to stay
Instead of
somewhere
driving the
nice.
half-hour
I think I'm
home.
And if you
Yeah.
need to crash, I've got sofas and stuff. If you need to crash for the night or whatever.
I can stay all night.
Yeah.
So
Now, I'm not
far,
playing all
you
night.
have
I'll play a few
gathered-
hours.
Too bad.
Okay.
And Omar from Saudi Arabia should be joining us as well for Neverwhere Nights as well. Because for him it'll be 9 or 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Take the blue adventure token.
Yeah, Saturday.
You can go for like 12 hours straight.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be doing a fundraiser at some point once everybody's got some training, where we play like a weekend through where everybody's in shifts so the group keeps advancing.
Can I get
It's a
these?
I'm
fundraiser.
just gonna play the entire time. Screw you. You can't stop me.
Purple bottoms and icons on the top.
Red? Yeah, I got 3 of them right here.
No purple.
Purple.
I have 1 purple one.
So these.
Then I think they're talking these.
No, it's no. You're talking this one. It's like a vampire type.
All right,
No,
John,
evil
I
witch.
am
Is that what
leaving.
that
gotta
says?
go
I
to
have
Fred
a
Meyer to get
bat
some stuff to
and
clean
a-
the trailer, the outside.
And a goblin.
Text
I
me
have
and
an
call me
evil
if you
witch.
need me.
Yep. And I will lock the door if you're not back by the time we leave.
Thank you.
Okay.
Evil witch.
You have an evil witch. Okay. Take all 22 of the blue adventure tokens and sort them according to their fonts. 11 smaller, 11 with jagged borders.
I don't know about this 20 to 40 minute thing.
I think it's 20 to 40 minutes to set up.
Just cut. What are you looking for?
Just a little bit.
I'm looking
sure
for
it's a lot
these.
easier after you know.
These
what
ones
it
are
is.
right.
Oh, okay. So I'll put these back.
Which VR and AR headsets does Paul cut?
He has a bunch of them. Because
Yeah.
he
I
likes
think we're
trying
at
out.
4.
He likes trying out different ones. What's better about this one compared to another?
Okay.
Do you know which ones? Or?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Neither do I.
Makes all the adventure tokens with
I know that some of them are up there.
together by shuffling them
Yeah, so that's a
face
very
down and
restricted
place
one, that
them
one.
on location.
Yeah.
Like I
Shown
think because I was
in
looking at
there.
getting that one. I think it is limited to Star Wars.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Should I challenge one?
I haven't used it because I was looking to buy like an AI headset like last year, and pretty much can't buy them. Like you can spend like $5,000 on like a really expensive one, but to get like a general, just basic one,
Used car.
Yeah.
Well, you can get the Oculus Go, which is the most basic version, for $250.
That's the
Yeah.
is it? Yeah.
Okay,
You mean the Oculus Rift?
Go.
Oh,
The Rift is $1,000. Don't look at those.
okay.
You want to keep them face down, which is how I handed them to you.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. I didn't see anything.
Okay, 2 on the pool. We're starting up in this corner.
2 in the pool?
Yep, 2 in the castle.
Oh, okay. Hold on. From the top?
Yeah. 2 in the castle. 1 in the cave.
1 in the cave.
1 in the pink ruins.
This one?
Yeah.
Is it 1?
1. 2 in the valley.
Hidden Valley?
Yeah. 1 in the forest. And 2 in the graveyard.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any leftover? Okay. Take Adventure Scroll 1, The Curse of the Fairies, and place it on the table.
Okay, it's on the table.
Jointly decide the difficulty level.
Easy.
Yes. If you want to play for this adventure and place the time counter on the space with the same number of stars on the track, then put the talisman with the matching number of stars next to the adventure scroll.
So...
1.
1?
Yeah.
And what am I putting it?
Next to the adventure scroll.
So, here?
Sure.
That's the easiest game.
There's one up there. I don't know.
All right. Now, have you guys selected your players?
Yes.
No. Oh,
Okay. Oh, we all have.
Give me one.
that's not a character.
Here.
I guess give me one too.
Why not?
I am playing the wizard. I just shaved off the beard, for gosh sakes.
No, you didn't. You've been without the beard for a week or 2.
And I'm so grateful that you actually noticed.
Well, I pointed out the first time I saw it.
Yeah, and then the mustache disappeared.
Yeah.
Then the hair
So we start in the hovel.
Okay.
At least that's what I'm guessing based on this diagram.
Oh, so that's the board game there.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the board.
Oh, I thought they were like playing pieces.
Kind of.
Ah.
Okay. Okay,
this little
so
guy
we
here.
we take all of our people and we shove them all in the hovel.
So, you're playing dwarf?
Yes.
Whether you're male or female. I'm gonna be female, whatever one
I'm
is
still
left
debating.
over.
Wait, who? What are you?
You can be either.
What's
You-
left over?
It's both.
There's a prophet or a warrior.
I'll be the warrior.
You choose whether on each side of the board.
She's pretty cool. Actual, like, plate mail. You can't see her.
You see.
Okay, that's just not right. The female troll has a baby face.
You're female.
Did she steal it?
She does have a baby face.
Compared to the male troll.
Yeah. Okay, show him. Male
Well,
troll.
I mean,
You're
That's the male
backwards.
the female wizard is young and beautiful, and the male wizard's old and grumpy.
You can really tell the difference between the male and female elf.
Well, that's about right.
Well, for the dwarves, the guy's got a ton of armor, and the girl just like wearing like a light dress. So she must be a better fighter.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, so things you need to know about movement. You may move through locations with face down adventure tokens. You must immediately stop if you enter a location with a face up adventure token showing an enemy. If the die shows a shows 4 pips together with a hourglass icon. You must first advance the time counter to the next space on the time track on the adventure scroll. Then you may move your hero up to 4 steps. Note, even if you decide to stay where you are, you have advanced the time counter. If the die shows the magic portal, you may jump with your hero figure directly to any location of your choice, regardless of distance. If you end your portal move on a location with 1 or more face down adventure tokens, you must still flip all of them face up. Note, if new adventure tokens are placed in locations with heroes, the tokens are immediately flipped face up. They are never flipped face down unless Adventure Scrolls tells you to do so. So, who wants to start?
Okay, so I'm going to read this. Adventure 1, the Curse of the Fairies. Chapter 1, The Alchemist. You begin your adventure after finding the friendly alchemist who lives in a hovel close to the forest edge. He's worried because an evil wizard has placed a curse on the fairy folk nearby, forcing them to steal a talisman for him. The alchemist offers to brew a magic potion that will release the fairies from the wizard's curse. However, first, he needs 3 herbs that grow somewhere nearby. Your task: find the 3 herb tokens for the alchemist. Once you have found an herb token and there are no enemies present in the location, you may place the token in one of the spaces in the specified area below. 2, 3. Once you have collected all 3 herb tokens, one of you must return to the alchemist's hovel to complete the task.
Okay, so we're going to start off just basic. I read travel. We're going to go through travel for 1 person because each player's turn has the travel. The youngest player starts first according to this rulebook.
Yay!
So, Riley, take
So I'm
the
last?
die.
I'm second.
We're just going to go in a circle.
Oh, yeah, where's the die? It's over. Thank you.
Please roll. It goes without saying, please roll it not on my
Yeah.
Do we need to get you the roll box?
Portal.
You can go anywhere.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Teleport.
You know that little orange
I
one?
don't know what's
Nice.
good and bad to go to. Should I go to a place with multiple enemies? Should I?
Probably not alone.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what are you?
An elf.
And what is your thing?
That's not specific enough.
Okay.
What's my thing?
Your ability. Sorry.
If I draw a magic hat, I can use it as a sword instead. That's what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can use those at any time during your
Okay.
encounters. I'm just taking it step by step. So move anywhere. I'm gonna suggest the one with 1.
Okay, I'll go to the forest.
Okay. So that immediately flips up as a part of the travel. What is it?
That would be rats.
Rats. Okay.
Oh, rats.
Okay. Encounter 2. If there is 1 or more face-up adventure tokens in the same location as your hero, you encounter them now. Most adventure tokens show enemies that block and attack your adventuring party. Some adventure tokens depict items, similar things you may need in order to successfully complete the adventure. Enemies block your path. You must try and defeat them. Okay, draw 3 random hero tokens from your own hero bag and compare.
Not you.
Not you, Riley.
No, I'm still grabbing that.
Okay. And compare the drawn icons with those shown on the enemies. You may use all of the icons you have drawn in order, in the order you want. If you manage to draw matches for all or more of the enemy icons, you defeat the enemy and eliminate it by putting it back in the game box. You may only use each icon you have drawn once. However, with a bit of luck, it is possible to defeat 2 or 3 enemies simultaneously with your drawn icons. Ignore any leftover icons.
I defeat it.
So, okay, what'd you get?
I got a sword, wizard hat that gives me a sword, and hourglass plus coin.
Okay. Hourglass plus. First, you must advance the time counter as described above. The fate icon allows you to draw another token from the same hero bag from which you have drawn. Oh, so you don't have to use it.
Okay, then let's not use it.
Because we don't.
You
want
may
to run out of
use
time.
all of your icons.
Okay,
Yeah.
I only use one.
Okay. So, the end of the encounter. Regardless of whether you defeat one or more enemies, you must leave all tokens you have drawn on the table in front of you. If you drew tokens from another player, place them on the table in front of these players. Do not return them to your hero bag at this time. Returning tokens. You may only return tokens to your hero bag when you or another player wants to draw tokens from your hero bag. Before the draw, you may decide to return all of the tokens in front of you to your hero bag first. You may only return all, not or none. You are not allowed to return some of the tokens in front of you. Okay, now the third phase is collect rewards and items. If you have eliminated one or more enemies this turn, you will be able to collect rewards. Draw one random reward token from the reward bag for each enemy you defeated. After you reveal each reward token, you have to put it in any player's hero bag of your choice. Rewards improve the contents of the hero bags. So, like, if I got a wizard hat, it would do me no good, but it would do Riley good.
Because I can use it as a sword.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And it would definitely do me good.
Yeah.
Because I'm a wizard.
So do we want to read does everyone want to read their little abilities? That way we have an idea.
Sure.
You gonna start since you're at the
Sure.
front table?
If you draw your sword plus, it counts as a sword, and you may immediately draw another token from your hero bag.
Once during your turn, if you draw a token without a hat, you may return it, then draw one token from the same hero bag.
Once during your turn, if you draw a token without a sword, you may return it and then draw a token from the same bag, from the same hero bag.
Once during your turn, if you draw a magic hat, you may use it as a sword instead.
And if you are allowed to draw one or more rewards, sorry, if you're allowed to draw one or more rewards, draw one additional reward and then return one reward. So I'm a dwarf.
So I want clarification. To beat the rat, he had to get a single sword or more.
A single sword or more.
Right. But if he got no swords,
Then,
or if he's a wizard and wouldn't have a sword,
Put this in your bag.
I still have to fight it with swords.
yeah, so
Okay.
I don't see what you'd still have to fight him with swords. Yeah, I don't see
Okay, let's have a
defeat other than it just stays out on the field. I don't see it taking anything from you.
Okay. And so I have these pieces.
So there's no bad thing for having multiple bad guys out
Okay.
and not defeating all of them.
And so I can put all of these pieces back into my bag.
At your next turn before you draw.
Okay.
Yep. So, David,
So I
it
roll
is
the
your
dice.
turn. Yes, first travel.
I roll first, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. 3.
So you can move your character any 3 along the path.
Okay. Oh, wow. There's a lot of choice.
Yeah. So you can get all the way up to the
Let's go to the castle.
castle. Yeah. I was gonna say, or you can get all the way to the temple. You can stop in the ruins, or you can go to the hidden valley as well.
Yeah. Now, if he travels through them, for example, if he travels here, this has a icon in it. Does he have to stop there?
No. Only face-up icons do you have to stop for.
Okay.
Do I turn anything over now?
You
turn flip because you did your turn in that square. You flip them over.
So I've got herbs and a bat.
So you have to defeat the bat in order to
With
get the
magic.
herbs. Yep. And you're trying to collect 3 herbs to go into the scroll.
So I collect. Do I take the herbs?
Nope, you have to defeat
the bats.
Okay.
So you
The
have to
flying
draw
rats.
3. So now we're in the encounter phase. You need to draw 3 random hero tokens out of your bag.
Fingers crossed. 1, 2, 3. So I've got 2 swords and a hourglass.
So you do not defeat the bat.
That kills me.
No, so it it just nothing as far as I can tell. Unless you and your ability doesn't allow anything to change. I don't see anything.
Oh, actually, I've got to draw 1 more. Sorry. Because I have that thing. If I draw 1 reward.
Well, no,
Oh, that's
if you.
from this bag.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where's the show?
You draw
combat?
2 and you
Counter?
choose which one you like better.
Encounter, yeah.
Come back. What's the hourglass? Okay, it's just an hourglass. So I think.
Didn't say anything about other than
I'm guessing that it just means that you guys are locked in combat.
So we can't move on and do anything else until you defeat him.
Gotcha.
And so you don't collect rewards.
So
your
next
turn
turn
is
I have
over.
to beat him again.
Or
someone else has to get there. Can you
Okay.
pass me that die? Watch me roll a 4.
Why do you want 4?
Now, I'm kind of curious as to what's the point of the stats on the...
Okay, no. So that's how many of each of those tokens you have in your bag.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing, like, the bottom one is how many... There's one where I can pull an additional treasure.
Probably.
Okay.
And I do believe it is pull. It's just pull a treasure.
So you just get it.
But
so my question is, because on his 3 tokens, one of them was an hourglass.
So
was
no,
that-
it helps you to get help from another player's bag.
Gotcha.
Oh, the hourglass?
Yeah.
No, the
No,
bottom
but
one.
since he pulled an hourglass,
Magic
does that
bag.
mean the time moves up?
Oh, it does. If it's just a regular hourglass, the time automatically moves up.
So,
you must advance the time counter.
So the game's
Yeah,
over
and
when
if
it
you get
reaches the
the
moon.
feat
Yeah.
yes.
an hourglass, which is the hourglass plus the draw another one, I think it's if you activate it.
Gotcha.
No, it says first you must advance the time counter as described above.
Yeah, never mind.
So advance the time counter 1.
So we actually
Fate
need to
kind
do
of allows
it
you
too
to draw
because
another
of
token from
yours.
the same bag from which you drew this token, but has no effect if the hero bag is empty.
Well, actually, I'm gonna take.
So
another
I
one
did
because
2.
I'm not on that reward one.
I'm the red guy, so I'm just gonna move over here
So,
because I can't help you. So I'm gonna move here.
so my question. So when you pull the bag one, do you just get another reward out of? No, never mind. You draw it from someone else.
Okay.
Okay. There's no.
And then I'm gonna draw 3 randomly. And you can look in your bag at any time. But you can't
look while grabbing.
Yep.
Can you add to it?
You add to it at the beginning and end of your turn. Okay.
Can I add? No.
At the next turn.
Oh, for everyone.
Yeah.
I draw another token. Ooh, and I get to get help from someone else even though I defeated
Wait,
it.
did you? Oh. You
I
fight
have
yourself.
okay, so I have an hourglass, so we have to move the thing up. I have a sword, and I have a sword plus. So I got to draw another one, which actually I'm not. I did, so I can pull from someone else's bag to help me.
What do you need?
Nothing.
She's already defeated it.
Yeah.
So,
Don't bother.
remove this.
Yep. And since I defeated one, the gold bag, please.
So the sword plus means
For me, because it's part of my warrior ability.
okay.
Yeah. And then I got a mule.
So plus.
Yeah, so I get to draw 2 extras if I draw the.
Well, you can put it in anyone's bag.
Yes. Okay, so anyone can. So here, John, that can go in your bag. Hopefully, you draw it.
So my question is, if we draw a reward out of our bag, the next turn do we get to put it back in our bag?
So yes. So here's where we would be. Okay, so at your.
So let's say John draws out his reward, and then we come around next turn, so he puts all of his tokens back in his bag.
Yeah, it's an all or nothing.
So if you put the reward back in there as well.
Yeah. So you start when you get a reward, it goes into your bag immediately.
And then after you use it, you can keep putting it back and using it again.
Yeah, but you have to put all of them back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not confused.
All
right,
roll the dice.
That's why I was trying to do it step by step, because I know that sometimes digesting all of the rules at once is hard.
Okay. So
we just talked about this.
My turn. Yeah. And I roll to see how much movement I get.
Yep.
I get one movement. So I am going to go to the Cave of Wonders.
Flip it over.
And I got an herb. So, and since there's no monsters, I automatically win.
Yay!
You win the whole game.
No, we have to get 3 of them to win the whole game.
Yeah. So,
I don't know.
and then you get a treasure?
Yeah, no, because he didn't defeat any monsters.
Yeah, I didn't defeat anything.
You feed those herbs, just cut their stems right off.
Okay.
I pulled out my little.
It is your. Oh, did you and you didn't defeat anyone, so you don't get any treasure.
That's right.
Okay, my turn.
Yes. Ooh.
1.
Okay.
1 is the loneliest number that you'll ever know.
I'm in the ruins.
2 can be as bad as 1.
It's the loneliest number since the number 1.
2.
I can't go there. I'm gonna go to the
Do
graveyard.
names of the actual locations mean anything, or is it just like...
Oh boy.
It's just a setting.
This
Yeah.
is going
It just makes it pretty.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put all my
So
stuff back in there.
as we go on, the game board will change each time that we're adventuring, because we're adventuring in a new area.
Yep.
But that is all dictated by
This is not gonna go well.
the
story.
tiles, the same story tiles.
Okay.
And so they can be in different orders.
I'm gonna use that to draw another. The time goes forwards by 1. Okay. Which one do I want? 1 in 4 chance.
You need wizard caps.
I do need a wizard cap. I did not get one.
Do we add things to our bag now that it's a new turn, or is that...
I'm going to defeat.
You can put everything back into your bag if you want before you go to draw. But otherwise, you cannot just throw it back
Servant
in
of
there.
Darkness is now defeated.
So the advantage of not putting it back in
Is knowing how much is out.
So I should get the ones back from...
Well, no, if you already put them in, it's probably fine. The only reason you'd not want to put it in is if you have like,
2 hourglass.
hourglasses out. It's probably not worth putting them back in to end up drawing them again.
And this is a role-playing game because we have development through attaining...
Treasure.
Well, no, we attain skills, essentially, as we keep fighting. So you attain more sorcery.
But if I keep my 2 swords and my what was it? The hourglass out.
Yes.
Does that mean that now
you
I
can't draw
roll?
them.
When you you roll, you
Yep.
move.
Sure.
Oh, you wouldn't. Well, I mean, I guess you could roll because if you got.
Actually, no, I can't roll. I'm stuck there, aren't I?
I think you are stuck
You
there.
have to defeat
Unless you get the portal, maybe?
But if I leave those 3 there, does that mean now do I roll and then pick out a certain number?
You'll know.
No,
So
but-
this
so-
determines how much you move. You always pull out 3.
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you always pull out 3 to fight them.
So
And so the whole reason, so you knowing what is out there means that because you're fighting something with a wizard's hat, so it's probably as good that you kept it out. That based on the numbers on your thing, is that the probability changes for what you're going to pull versus rolling a die.
So if I just keep those 3 out and then choose 3 more, and it's get a better chance for me to beat the.
Do I get a treasure for defeating one monster when there's 2 there, or do I have to defeat all the monsters?
No, you get a treasure for every monster defeated.
Okay.
You may only return all or none.
Okay.
There's a lot of treasure in here.
There is. There's
I got a gnome.
24.
Who wants a gnome? I'm gonna give this to you. Put that in your bag.
A gnome?
A gnome. You get a gnome in there.
Yeah, so now you get to mix it around and get 3. Because it's your turn. And you want to roll the die.
You have to get a match.
Well, does he get to roll the die? Because he's
So
fighting
it doesn't
bats.
say anything about it.
He has an encounter.
I just choose 3 more,
It doesn't say anything about moving out of a location with.
Enemies block your path, and you must try to defeat them before you can proceed.
Okay.
So he has to
Cannot
attack
proceed.
before he rolls.
Okay. Yeah, so you would you could roll, but it would be
Worthless because
So
you're
I
not
got the
moving.
gnome.
Which is
Gnome plus, like magical plus.
so
Okay.
you got the magic, so you defeat your bat.
so the.
Actually, I got another magic one and another pick from someone else's bag.
Does someone have does their thing say magic plus?
Well, that says magic plus.
I know, but there's one of your character traits.
Oh, that might.
No, this doesn't say anything about Magic Plus.
I don't see magic plus.
Well, isn't a
Plus
plus means you automatically...
Plus means you grab another one. It looks like.
Yeah.
It just doesn't outline it.
Ah, so I get 4 of them.
Yeah. So pull out one more.
Well, does he have to?
It says may use them.
I would recommend.
But if you
I'm
use the
probably
wizard
should
hat,
because that means that the next person doesn't have access to those.
Well, no.
Doesn't it?
I would not pull out another one because I'm pretty sure one of the only ones that's left in there is a timer, which would just progress the time.
Where's the frequently asked questions
And so
page?
since you've already,
it's not.
But isn't
on
that
there.
why
Look
you
at
should be
that
pulling
too.
it out? Because
well,
it
so put down
progresses time.
the 3 that you, no,
If you
don't
progress
progress
time to
time.
here,
Oh,
it
there's an
means-
icon list here.
Yeah, but like
You
if you're
may
going
draw
with the
another
game and
token
it says to pull out
from the
another
same
one,
hero
you
bag
probably
to
should
which
pull on
you
that
drew
because it
this
might
token.
progress.
No, this is
So
on
you
the
should be
word
playing the
may.
rules to progress.
It says you
The ones
may
you pull...
You
draw another
But
one.
so since
It's up to you.
you've already beaten the
Oh,
bat,
Oh,
you
if
don't need to
two
draw another one.
icons are next to each other, that means you may use both of them. This example, the sword allows you to draw another token, and then, or from the same bag in the hero bag, which you drew this token.
That's
so
if
it's
there's
may.
a token next to it.
It is a may.
It's
Maybe.
So, if you
So
put down
don't.
the ones you drew. So because you have a magic one already, you don't need to draw from someone
Can I
else's
see
or
the
draw one from yours.
the defeated dudes
So-
real quick?
Because if you
The what?
did draw
The
those,
defeated
might end
guys
up
real quick.
progressing
Can we-
forward.
Oh, the monsters that have been
So
defeated.
is this going to bin now or not used
Well,
it?
so you keep those, and since you defeated the bat, you
I
can
get
now
the herbs.
you also
Oh,
get
the
the
herbs on
treasure.
there.
There's a rat.
They don't have it. You mean a bat?
And I give it to somebody.
It's a
Or
flying
you can give it
rat.
to yourself too,
Mhm.
depending on.
Almost
who
as
you
bad as a
think
pigeon.
I need it. So.
Okay.
Go for it.
Someone defeated a tiny dragon.
Who did?
I don't think so.
Yes, tiny dragon.
I don't
Someone
think we defeated it though. I think she just has extras.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I think I might have. I didn't read what I've defeated.
Nice.
I didn't defeat anything.
Well, it's
This
your
wasn't
turn.
there. Rats, bats,
Actually, no. You can move now.
servant of darkness.
Right.
Who fought
Oh
that?
no, it's in order.
Wait, what's in order?
It's an order. There's an order to which you can do things.
Oh, I thought you said that you can't move until after the thing in your path is defeated.
Yep, which means you don't have a travel phase. You go right to the encounter
Okay.
phase.
You just
And now
no
you're at the
travel.
reward phase. Did you collect your reward?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Your turn, my lady.
2.
There's only 2 spaces.
I'm just gonna go 1. Okay, flip them over. Whether they defeated a sword.
You've got 3 magic hats and a sword.
I know where the herbs are.
One's a poisonous snake, and the other one is a
I'm
giant
gonna
spider.
draw from this exactly how it sits. Because I have a really good chance of magic hats.
Yeah, but you're gonna get 3 of those and a sword.
We'll see.
But I will
She
defeat
can only
one.
she can at least defeat one monster.
I'm not gonna get a sword, I don't think. No, I won't get a sword. But I can at least defeat the magic hat.
You can't.
Oh, she got 2 magic hats, and she has a chance to get that 3rd magic hat.
Wait.
There's
Well,
nothing in
well,
here.
if she gets a 3rd, well, that's because you only have 7 tokens.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah,
I'm
because
done,
you're supposed
and
to
once
put
you-
them back in.
Yeah, once you end,
So
You defeat the
I defeat the double.
the spider.
Yep. And did we increase the time?
Did you draw a time?
Okay. And go ahead and draw
slipping into the future.
treasure.
Yeah, I get to draw 1 treasure.
No, she doesn't.
Let's see if I get. I'm gonna keep it this time.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the mule.
Another one?
Another mule.
She got a mule. She's so muleish.
Mhm.
Die?
It's
Okay.
right there. Isn't it? I just said it here.
Good.
Did you
job.
move it?
We lost the die. Not even an hour. Oh my god.
2! Dos!
Oh.
Wow.
What are these heart pieces for?
Bigger monsters.
The bosses.
Oh,
One has 3 hearts. Not good.
So I'm going to come up and join you and say, hey, let's go to the fairy pool together.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay. Damn.
2. You look like you need some help.
Ah.
1, 2.
Okay. Are you gonna sword and
Bash it! Bash it!
Take it down.
You need some magic on that sword.
Jeez. Impressive. That's a lot of not magic.
Jeez.
Wow.
You can draw
2
another one
times.
though.
1, 2.
You can draw 1 more and 1 from someone else too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I just have a mule, but then you'd have to draw 2 out of my empty bag.
That's very useful.
I think I've got 1 magic left.
I have not drawn
Magic and
anything
time.
from my bag, so I have 1 sword,
Hold on,
3
wait a
magic.
minute.
No, I don't.
Wait a
2
minute,
times
wait a
in my
minute.
hand.
Got nothing.
Once during my turn, so I'm going to put this back. If you draw a token without a sword, and none of those have swords, you may return it and draw 1 token from. So I'm going to.
You can return 1.
I'm going to return 1 of these.
I'll pick it again.
So did you go back in time 2 or 1 slot?
He went back.
I went back in time 2.
So you can only go back in time 1 slot.
Well, yes.
See,
but
now it just increased.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now you need to draw a wizard hat,
from
Harry.
in there and from someone else.
I
Yeah,
have.
So you can draw 1 more from your bag.
Yeah, I'm going to draw 1 more from my
How
bag.
many magics do you have in your bag?
1.
You could draw from someone who has
Well,
4
he-
magics in their bag.
This one means he has to draw it from his bag, so he gets a
I
chance.
know,
to-
but if he does this one first, where he can draw from someone else and he gets the magic, he doesn't have to draw from his bag.
That's a good point. You want to draw from mine? I have 3.
Dan.
I'm a mage.
Whoa. Oh.
Plus.
What is
Now,
plus?
now maybe you
It's
have
a
to
mule.
draw
You can
2
draw
more
2
from
out
mine.
of his bag.
Double the chance
Just
of
draw
getting.
one at a time, though. Yay!
Wizard hat, whiz, and time.
Okay.
Which
Well,
is why
need
you
the
should have
monster.
only drawn 1 at a time. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't have to use both. You only have to use 1.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, you defeated the monster.
yes, I did.
Now you get your award. So make sure that the tokens that came out of John's bag are in front of John.
Well, no, and they're supposed to be in front of.
Nope, they're supposed to be in front of John. Because that way he can decide to put them back into his own bag.
Gotcha.
But he can't decide to put them in his bag.
Gotcha.
So there's
And
that.
they're not technically a part of his pool.
Are you a
Wait,
troll?
what am I rolling?
Yes.
What am I doing? I have to attack.
You got a
What do
babyface
I got?
troll.
Magic.
Wait for him to choose and see if it's something that he needs to put in someone
I
else.
still need to put all of my stuff in there.
Oh, you can put your stuff in, I guess. That's fine.
It's a
What
wizard
is this?
hat with a draw.
I'm a wizard.
Harry. With a
You don't have
draw.
much magic, do you?
Got 1. Actually, none left.
No, they're all.
Oh, sweet. That's mine.
I just need 1 magic. Come on. It's easy peasy, right? 2 out of 7.
Oh, I like this. This must be a reward. It's either ors.
Okay, knowledge.
They're all good.
It's what you need it to be.
A sword, a wizard hat, or a
I got the wizard hat.
negative
Oh, yeah.
time
That's
are
nice.
the options.
Okay. I defeat whatever is over there. I can't see it from this far.
You just needed one wizard hat
Yeah.
to defeat that crow.
Thank you.
So if you see the crow,
There's one in there too.
tiny. No, I put it over here already. Tiny dragon, a bat,
What do you know?
a
Either
servant
or.
of darkness, a giant spider, a rat, and a poisonous snake.
Hey, John, take this
We have
magic
two.
bow.
Oh, ooh, it's either or. I love
It is
that.
either or.
Okay.
All right. So it is. David, it is your turn. Go ahead and start by the movement. And you really want a tombstone.
I'll get a 1.
A tombstone.
That's a portal. It
two
looks
or
like
higher.
a tombstone.
But if I get a 2, I get to
Yeah,
the.
2 or higher.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
never mind. I thought it was somewhere else.
You got a tombstone.
Sweet.
It's got a portal, which is the same thing as a 2.
So I just go to the
Or a 14.
fairy pool, yeah?
Okay, flip them
Switch
over.
them over.
You got at least one.
Yeah, that was the last herb. Is this the final boss monster?
2 swords.
Two swords.
Swords.
So I can put all these back in now.
Yep.
Yeah, because all
play.
of his good stuff is out.
The boss monsters that look like don't come into
Oh,
play
gosh.
until
Later.
later. This
Yeah.
is like a introductory.
Yep. This is a first level
they
module.
have health and stuff, and that's scary.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, yeah?
Yep.
Let's see.
Oh. Wow, even
Got a
second
magic.
Australian.
Got the plus. So give it a letter. 1 sword.
Nice.
Boom.
Okay. Can you get a second sword?
Another magic.
But you have a plus, right?
Plus.
Draw
Okay,
one.
1 more. No more. Fingers crossed.
And what is your special ability?
Oh, when he gets a reward.
Picking
he
the right
Oh.
token.
Figure the right token. Okay.
Taking the right token.
can- Oh, yeah.
I suspect there's some tokenism going on around here.
Oh, worst one possible. Timer.
Time.
Not
Yeah.
I did not understand a word of that.
We all did. It's just
I have to enunciate more.
I think after processing it, you said blast it all as a timer.
no.
Oh, I said that it's the worst of them all.
It's the
fun.
worst.
Oh, the worst of them all.
You got the timer part though.
You need to learn how to speak English.
Different English?
Well, we speak American over here.
It's not English.
He speaks Australian.
Australian.
I got one,
Ooh.
so I'm going to start heading back that direction. Not that I'm going to be much of a help.
We believe.
Come on,
John, don't
2
get a
or
1.
better. 2 or better.
I think I'm the
3. Put it right up there next to him. Now I have to draw swords.
2 swords. You know the magic user.
Might be one to draw some of somebody else. Actually, no.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Because very best to get.
because he only has one sword, so he needs to draw.
Well, I have 2 swords if you count the sword plus thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to actually put all these back,
Does
even though
the
it
mule?
cuts down my chance. But the mule gives me double dice roll.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna be pulling 5 in timers out of there, so
Yeah.
you should be good.
If you want to pull from mine,
I drew the mole first. I drew the pull from somebody else's one, and I pull a wizard hat. I'm going to pull from yours to get a sorcerer.
Yeah, I have
2
like
swords.
2.
I pulled a wizard hat,
Nice.
and so I got to pull in here and get 2 swords out of here. A timer plus and a wizard hat.
It's don't pull because you can't get 2 swords.
But I can pull and get 1 sword.
But that's not. Or you could pull and get a timer.
Yeah, and I can't pull from yours again. I already pulled from yours once.
Nothing's happening.
If I pull another one, there's no. I can't beat him, and it just leaves more cards on my table.
But it also leaves more cards on your table.
I would, but if you.
Another timer.
So how many tokens do you have in there?
I still have.
And you can look at them at any time.
I'm pretty sure
I got 3. I got the bow,
which is sword.
which is a sword, and the sword.
Uh-huh.
So I got.
Next time you for sure have it.
Yeah, no matter what.
If I need, yeah, you're right. I don't want to put any of those back. I'm going to succeed.
Because there's no swords out there. Why would you want to put them
Okay,
back?
Dan.
Yeah.
Roll
And no
your
more
die
timers.
if you're not over there.
So as long as these guys don't timer
Four,
us
no,
out,
four,
we're gonna
no,
win.
Good.
2.
2.
Do you have to roll the die each time?
2.
Each. Well, if
If
we
you're
can't, but if everybody else has to roll the die to move.
So I don't have to.
You can't. You have a monster to
You have
defeat.
to attack.
Oh,
Yeah. So go ahead and attack. Pull 3.
How many
David,
swords do you have in your?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My go now, is it?
pull 3. Yeah, it's you. Are you gonna
Have
put
you
me
gone?
back?
I just went.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, he's
No,
only
no,
got one
no,
sword,
no,
and he can't put any back. He has to put all or none.
it's better. I'll just with
He has 2 swords in there. He also has 2 timers.
Don't worry about it. If you don't make it, all we have to do is prevent her from timing out.
Which she can't because she can't fight anything.
So I got one sword.
I can leave the all my
So
stuff
I ignore
out.
this one. They
And
mean
even if I
nothing,
get
don't they?
there.
Yeah. So I got one sword.
I just get a mule.
I've got and pick 2 basically off other people.
Okay.
Who's got the more swords? You do?
He's got a lot of swords.
I have one timer in here.
Oh, I
All the rest
have
are swords.
nothing but swords in here. I got 2 swords in here and a
Take
wizard
it from
hat.
him. Take it from him. Take it from
And
him.
you have
I have a timer.
66% chance of getting a sword.
Yeah, he's guaranteed to get it. Okay.
How do you like that,
Sword,
Riley?
boom.
We did it.
That's it.
Boom.
Okay.
We win.
No, we don't. We
No,
have to
we
get back to there first.
Yeah, which is why I've been moving that way.
That's why I was
Do
moving
we?
that way too. Yeah, we have to go
Yeah.
back to the.
To the west? The hotel?
Hovel.
Oh,
To the hovel.
Oh, who's at hotel?
The hovel.
It's basically a hotel.
It says here, let's see here. Find the 3 tokens, 3 herb tokens for the alchemist. Once you have found the herb tokens and there are no enemies present in the location, you may place the token in the space in the specified area below. Once you have collected all 3, which we have, one of you must return to the alchemist's hovel to complete the task.
Only one of us.
Only one of us.
Okay. I'm going to leave that up to you to get back to that hovel. Come on.
Can you tell what I watched last night?
Now turn.
Batman.
Yeah.
Now turn the adventure scroll over and place
3.
the time
I go
counter
to the
on the
hovel.
space with the same number. Then continue reading. Oh my gosh, this adventure's not over.
Okay, so we flip over.
Well, yes.
Yes. So the timer goes on 10.
That's where it was. Oh.
No, we have to flip it over.
Oh my goodness.
And we start at 10.
3 more and 6.
Adventure 1, The Curse of the Fairies. Now,
Chapter 2, Rescuing the Fairies.
I gotta, guys, before you start reading that.
It's
It's
like 9:07.
Yeah. So, good night and dream well.
Good night.
That was one half of a single adventure.
And there are 5 adventures.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Are they all
and
in
it
here?
took us a half an hour. So, wherever you be well.
Dream well.
Avoid the nightmares.
Peace out.
Say goodbye, David.
See you next time.